Man, good evening, good evening, good evening. All right, it's a Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. All right, it's your famous guy named Dyslexic Daryl. I know I'm pronouncing everything wrong because you know what? I need a white savior. I need somebody to come in and tell me that what I need to look for. And tonight is the official business podcast where we talk shit, swallow spit, and we're going to back it up. But on tonight's discussion, we have some people on the panel. Gentlemen, can y'all introduce yourselves?
Hey man, this is Theo. Y'all know me, always here. Keep it real, bring the peace and love like always that my higher power protects me and wants me to do.
This is the cannon. I'm here to boulder through shit tonight, boy. I'm trying to find out what it's looking like.
Well, what it's looking like tonight, right? I peeked my head out the rabbit hole tonight, right?
All right.
And I've noticed, I sat on the corner where a Caucasian pastor sat on his soapbox and told us what we need to do. Then turned around and said he's going to become a Mason. He told the other Caucasians, y'all need to become Masons because y'all Irish and your descendants are Irish. And I was just blown away by that shit right there, man. You know, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to start off with the goddamn gun blazing. What'd you feel about that, Nick, man?
I mean, I have a small understanding of what they talking about. I'm not a big fan of the religion type story, but I am finna find out tonight though. I am finna find out tonight and play around. So let's just get the record straight. Are we talking about Joel Osteen? Oh,
No.
okay.
Not
Okay.
joking.
I
Not
had, I had
joking.
words for him too, but okay, then that's what's up. But since we ain't talking about the cat out there in Houston or Austin or wherever he at, we speaking about whatever this little Caucasian man who decided to sit and tell other individuals that they should be in the Mason since they're Irish. I can't sit and say nothing that they should or shouldn't do, but I can sit and say all you gotta do is think for yourself, and all you gotta do is just do a little research, man. We are in with 2023, no 2022. All you gotta do is look up who is the Masons, and then you can figure out what they did then, what they're doing right now. Because outside of them being a Catholic education resource spot, you can pretty much get an understanding as to what they was doing in their time frame and how was it coming together today. Now, I'm not too religious in that area. I just look at everybody's stuff. I pick from here and from there, and I like what I like. I cherry pick. I do like how the girls be doing when they want to be a man until it's time to do some work. Then they decide to be a woman. I cherry pick the same way. I hop in anybody religion. I like they stuff. Like with the Christians, I like coming in there on. I think that's what the first Sunday or something, just so I can get some juice and crackers. That's all I like. So I, I, under, I understand how it is to pick and choose what you want. And if he's sitting there telling everybody to be a Mason, and if it was to me, I would try to find out what's the benefits of that. Because I just want the benefits. When it comes down to, you got to be strict to do X, Y, and Z. I guess in the Masons, let's see, the Muslims, you can't have pork. So I guess the Masons, you probably couldn't have chicken. I don't know. I'm making it up. But if that's the case, if they're not offering me my cheese and crackers on the second Sunday, I don't want that shit. You get what I'm saying?
Mm,
I get it. I get it wholeheartedly, man. Now, Theo,
cool.
you got anything to add to the caveat?
You know, the way I look at it, man, is I've fought my 49 years and as an adult from 18 and up to 49, I fought that time trying to figure out how can I bring everybody under the same umbrella versus my religious views. And even that's altered, but I still want everybody under the same umbrella. And I think when we make a statement to say, you should go over here and I'm going to go over here, well, once I go over here and you go over there, how are we able to come back together? Because there are rules and guidelines that you got to follow. There are rules and guidelines that I got to follow. And my rules, based on the historical context, may not allow me to be in a relationship with somebody, i.e., that don't look like me, i.e., that's not my religion. Like he said, it's derived from the Catholic religion. Now, when you get into certain aspects, you're talking about the Jesuits who say all are infidel unless they're Jesuits. So all are deemed to be killed because they're infidels, right? My thing is bringing us together under one umbrella, under one accord. Whatever your religion is, don't matter. But some of these religions, when we say one should go over here and one should go over there, we're dividing, and that could be a detrimental effect, even as up to bring violence, depending on how far you're willing to go within that religion. That's my take on it, and how I see when we are saying you should go over here and you should go over there. That was what was used in the tactics during the Knights Templar, all the way up to the British rule, to America, up to today. So it sounds to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like segregation, if I could use that word.
Yeah, man, you can use that word, man. And I wanna apologize. I want to take a time out to apologize to the subscribers, to the people that really gave out and gave their input on de-escalation and tactics to, have a healthy relationship, have a healthy life, non-violent. We just found out tonight that it was just lies. So a person chose to come on to this platform and lie about domestic violence, which we do not play about. We don't make joke about it. There's nothing funny about domestic violence, but somebody wanted to come over here to stir up the pot, but then announced tonight that domestic violence, what they said and the allegations was totally untrue. They just wanted to do it. They just want to do it because apparently it's relevant in our community. And when I say our community, I mean a man of color. And I don't believe that. I don't support that. But to hear individuals start talking about religion and then turn around and start talking about, hey man, I came over to your channel, I lied. I lied. I was not truthful. But he's talking about domestic violence. But he needed the outlook of other people of color. And people from all walks of life, came in with very positive comments and things. What you got to say? What you got to say, Kenny?
I'm sorry. I ain't mean to put that in there. I know we speaking on real shit, and I
Yeah.
shouldn't have come in. But when you said domestic violence, like I'm not a big fan of whooping on nobody ass like that, especially if it's a girl. But we gotta keep it in the context of being serious. And I was about to be funny, so I can't do it right now. I'm sorry. Continue, man. Continue.
Well, let me
Well,
jump in for a minute.
go ahead.
You know, I listened to the conversation that night when that was brought up and was talked about. And I was like trying to give words of encouragement because I've lost a family member to domestic violence. So I know it's no joke. And it is frustrating to hear someone even bring that up and then on the flip side make it seem as if it was a joke. I don't know if it was or wasn't. I'm just giving what my ears are saying in my opinion, not whether I agree or disagree with the person. But it is heartbreaking that if that was a joke, it is a very distasteful joke. It's a joke that, me personally, I wouldn't have said, but if I did, I would have been very apologetic because this is something that affects everybody across color lines. It's not a domestic violence, not a black thing, it's not a white thing, a Hispanic or Asian. It's not. And if it was as to be a joke, I think it needs to be addressed by the individual saying, hey, man, I was just joking. And I would take your word for it and move on. But as somebody who's lost a family member to domestic violence, it's just something, man, that I just don't like, me personally. And that's anybody joking about.
Yeah, that's very understandable. I wasn't thinking of whatever happened in this situation, because I wasn't there. I'm catching bits and pieces of it. But when he mentioned it, the first thing that came to mind was one of Dave Chappelle's domestic violence joke. That's what came to mind when I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking of it. But when you sitting there breaking it down like this, you're like, okay, I gotta get out of that mind frame. This is pretty serious. Somebody's been accused of something, and that's not a good thing. Because me personally, I've been in the court system watching people actually go to court for domestic violence, because it's in Texas, it's not considered domestic violence no more. I think it's called domestic battery, or it's domestic something, but it's not domestic violence. And I forget I forgot the judge's name who was over this here. But I was in there just taking some information for one of my podcasts, and I was in shock because I think I went to court like maybe 4 6 months ago. I was in shock to listen to her because it was 4 people that was in line to see her, and they was all happened to be through for some domestic violence type stuff. And the first cat that got up to talk to her, it was a white boy. I mean, a white boy, like Richie Rich white boy, like the Macaulay Culkin from the movie. I'm talking about like that. Had a little flip in his hair, had a little polo collar shirt on, little khakis. I mean, he was in there looking like that. And the judge, she was a white lady. When he came up and she started reading what happened to him and what he was in there for, because he actually wound up being in there for fighting his uncle. This lady gave this white boy 2 years for domestic assault. Now, I come from a time frame where something like that happened. That's a ticket. That's a ticket, or maybe a couple of hours or a few days in jail.
Correct. A cool down period.
Yeah, but that was in the 90s and the early 2000s. Fast forward to 2022, that lady gave this boy 2 years of jail time, in the county, and I was in shock. And I watched 3 more other people come right behind him on the same charges, and she gave 2 of them. It was a white boy, it was a Mexican boy, and it was a black boy. She gave all 3 of them. All 3 of them got 2 years right then and there. The last black boy, he got probation. And I realized the reason why he got probation, he actually happened to be in there with a pro bono lawyer. But the lawyer, I don't know if y'all know, some lawyers are not pro bono all the time. Some of the lawyers are big lawyers, and they come into court and just pick up random stuff. Well, this person happened to get this particular lawyer who knew a lot of people, and he was able to get this dude, I want to say 4 or 6 years probation. But the kicker for this probation that this dude had was that for the time frame he's going to be on there, this dude can't do no smoking or drinking, alcohol or nothing. And I looked him upside his head, like, I don't know if you drink beer or not, but boy, if you drink beer, you going to jail.
Yeah, and here's the thing, not to cut you off, I want to make sure I don't forget it. We do know that there are men who have been accused of domestic violence that didn't do it, right? So there is a double-edged sword. We can't just beat up on say the men are doing everything, right? We understand some women do say that, but my thing to men and women, if you're making a false domestic charge, it's not good. And even talk about it in the opening as a joke, it's not good at all. That's
Correct.
my point.
Now, man, I'm gonna step in, man, and say this. Now, all jokes aside, I could kid, he. But to come on this platform and start a dialogue or give your interpretation of what happened and turn around tonight and say that it was all full of shit, I want to say you a piece of shit, because people actually go through this.
I didn't think that was very funny. What he was
No,
talking
it's
about.
not funny. But go ahead. I'll sit back. Go ahead, black heavyweight.
No, it sounded like it was funny. Like you only get tickets for it. Like it should be okay. It should be all right. I don't think it's all right at all. A woman is weaker than a man. So anyway, I didn't come here to talk about that. I'm surprised y'all are on this subject.
Well, I'm on that subject because it was a joke, and from what I took it from it, it was something to just try to pick our brains as if we are on this platform aiming towards certain type of demographics or gender when we are not. This is a trucker. This is official business. But this person, and y'all could go back and listen to for yourself. We was not talking about this. We never talked about that because we just discussed things that going on in everyday trucking life and business. But the person want to be center of attention, and tonight they made it very clear, very clear. How did you not know I was just bullshitting? Wow, that tells me a lot about your character. So from now on, I can't deal with a motherfucker like that. And we are not going to make fun of it. It's nothing to joke about. It's nothing to be taken lightly. That's it.
Hey,
Anybody else?
salute to the panel. I'm gonna jump back down. So I thought you was gonna go over some of this Mason
Oh yeah,
controversy.
we are going to go over that, man. We just go at our own pace, man.
How did
We're
y'all
gonna
get
get
on
deep and
domestic
dive
violence?
now.
How did y'all?
We gonna dumpster dive. We gonna dumpster dive. We got a nice panel tonight up here. Everybody give their input. Let's say. All right, we switching gears. Let's move on.
yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you, Apocalypse, how do you think of that, Forrest? I know you heard me earlier when I said it seems like segregation, right? And I would want to get your take on what I said versus that.
Well, my understanding of the whole, not to be disrespectful, I do respect the whole Masonic movement and the brotherhood,
Correct.
but it is segregated. If I'm not mistaken, in the military there was a white chapter and well, they don't say that. So unofficially, the whole Mason thing, there's not a how do I put it? I know there was a white cat that said he was of a totally different chapter than the black cat. And I said, but aren't you guys Masons? And so what I'm trying to understand is what is the origin of the Mason, like without getting too much into that conversation of a traveling man, like where the origin is England, right?
Scorekeeper. You just heard the man. You could ask that question when the man said, "Tell all the Caucasian to go
But
and
he
be a
don't have
part of it."
any understanding of the literature, so why would I ask him?
But he
Obviously,
told people to join it. He literally said,
he
"Join
said,
it."
I think he said he didn't think that. What did he say? Mason was for black people. I think. Is that
Correct.
am I hearing? Did he not say that? Like, I think he said that Mason, really a Mason, really the origins of Mason weren't for the African American. It was some England stuff or something like that, or I don't know, man. That's what
But it's black Masons in America right now. There are black
No,
Masons.
he was saying it started in the Scottish Rite was
Right.
first. I think is what Kobe was trying to say.
Yeah. The
I don't know
original
if it's
was
true, but
Scottish.
I mean,
Yeah. That's what he said. I didn't know if it was
yeah,
a lot of
I
fucking.
mean, don't
it
nobody
is.
really know. From my understanding, I don't think too many people know that's true if they're not in it. Because a lot of people can sit and tell you what Google tell you, and if we all know Google is pretty much an SEO spot. So if you just got a really good SEO, you can get on the front page, and somebody just click the first one and read whatever is written on there because it's not nobody to verify.
I keep
So if
my hands off of it.
it's
I just
coming
keep
from
my hands
there.
off of it because I just don't have a true understanding, and it seems like it's a very like secret, not secret society, but it's well respected.
It's hush hush. Yeah, like the people who are actually in it that I know of that are in it, they don't speak about it. They do whatever they do behind closed doors or in your face, and they get it done however they get it done. And they're not bragging about being in this here. They just dabble in it how they do, and they keep moving. I ain't never said
even when Kobe, I know he's probably listening, but even when he said he's thinking about joining the Mason, I was like, well, I don't even know if you just broke the rule right there. Even I keep saying that. Yeah, so I was like, from my understanding,
that's true. If you take it like a frat fraternity, right?
Right.
Nobody knows that you've joined that frat until you start going through initiation. You start walking the
You've
line,
been pledged and all that good stuff.
Correct. So, sometimes, man, on this YouTube stratosphere, we want to have a voice, but we got to be careful what we're saying.
Right.
You
because
get what
even
I'm saying?
even a clip of that video of him on YouTube saying that can actually make you ineligible, from my understanding, to
Correct.
be
It
a
can.
part of the society. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, there you go. There go Kobe. He in the chat. Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth or nothing like that, but
No,
since
no,
you
no,
guys
no.
are open, since you guys are open up to this topic, I just want to dig into it while I have an opportunity, because I swear in my 47 years of life, people don't talk about that society publicly.
Well,
Period.
I would say this to you, Apocalypse. I think you're right in the context. Nobody talks about it on an open platform, right?
Mhm.
We can both admit that. In private, I think a lot, I know I do, with other gentlemen, I do discuss it. I've
Okay.
had a family member that was a Mason.
Right.
So, we discussed it from the time I was young up to now. And now don't get it twisted. There are benefits to being a Mason,
Oh, I
right?
know all my sergeant majors in the military was Mason. Like, it was one of the things in 2010. They turned it into almost like a gang. You weren't even allowed to put the emblems on your car anymore in 2018, because it just had too much pull in the military, where people were getting promoted over certain people just because they wore the ring and all kind of other things that was going on. So
Correct. So from what I'm saying is, it can be healthy for somebody to join a group like that. Financially, it can be really help you because they can lead you to better opportunities, right? Which so that's what religions are supposed to do, is take care of their own and the ones who are less, I want to say less capable than we are.
And
I
for the record,
yeah.
I have been solicited and have been asked to join
Okay.
decades ago. So I just want to put
Correct.
that out there. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. But
Yeah.
it's not as secretive as people try to paint it out to be. I mean, they do talk a little bit about. They don't talk about their secrets, but they might say things in passing, like, when you get stopped by a police officer, say this or do that or something like that, right?
Right.
But as far as their secrets, no. Yeah, I was solicited to join, I think 30 years ago. I just didn't do it. I don't know. It helps you get jobs. I know that.
Yeah.
Employment.
Yeah. There's benefits to it, but I think that the whole thing that was somewhat disheartening, when the comment was saying that this is where white people should go and this is where black people should go, right? That was to me a little disheartening, because I know the
No. He's
brother.
probably right. He's probably right about some of that now.
Yeah,
Well,
now, I'm not going to disagree with that, but as a person who wants peace among all of us, then I don't want this segregation mindset.
No,
That's
he
what I'm
probably shouldn't have said it. What was his purpose of saying it, really? He shouldn't have said anything like that, but he's probably truthful.
saying.
Hillary Clinton came to the Scottish Lodge in Harrisburg before she ran. She lost.
I have to agree with Mr. Heavyweight.
She
We
lost.
seldomly agree on any fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
y'all agree on both
But I
wanting to
did
wake
at
up
the
every day.
time go and Google some research, and I'm like, now Kobe is about 80% correct on that right there. The delivery was a little, and the audience.
all right. So when you say correct, are you a Mason?
Nah, I'm not.
Okay, then how can he be correct? How can he be correct unless you participate?
I called retired Command Sergeant Major Hawkins, that's out there in Texas, and was like, hey, this is what was just said.
But do you actually know from firsthand?
Nah,
Because we hear secondhand.
Now you asked me that. Now I'm gonna ask you: are you a Mason?
I'm not going to answer the question.
See? Okay. All right.
Well, I'm asking you: did you
That's
ride a
pretty much
goat?
telling me
Did you
no.
ride a goat?
So, nah.
Did you ride a goat?
Nah.
Okay.
Nope. You
Hell,
got
I
me.
eat goat.
You got me. Shit.
I eat goat. I know that.
I stand down. Shit, you the subject matter expert on that.
So with that being said, if you individuals was solicited years ago, what made it to where y'all didn't do it? If it
I
had
didn't do it. I didn't do it because
you?
I was a part of a different fraternity. I was a part of a whole different brotherhood as a U.S. Army Ranger. So I had no interest in joining a different frat. I mean, what did I have to gain at that point? Most cats in the military only doing it for their own benefits when it comes to rank, in my opinion, because a lot of them cats, when they go to the board, that sergeant major's a Mason, they're E4, they're being pledged, they're not going to lose the board. They're going to make sergeant. They're going to put the little blue thing in their car. And I just was like, I want to be a lone wolf. And I declined. So that was that.
Correct. Okay, so you basically said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna move up on my own. I don't need
Yeah, I just didn't
help."
want to be
Yeah.
because I'm a severe introvert for one. I had no understanding on it, and I always frowned upon it because a lot of them guys were my competition in the military because they were brothers,
Hey, Price, man, what's up with your Price?
and I was the
What's happening?
outsider
What's
because I
happening?
had not
Correct.
been
Correct.
pledged.
I got
Yeah.
you. I got you, brother. Yeah. What's up, Mississippi? See, he must got it. He must got his mic muted.
Well,
Oh, what's
nah, I
going
ain't got
on?
it,
What's
man.
going on?
Hey, what up with your Price, brother? How you doing today, brother?
All right, man. I'm hanging in there. How y'all doing?
Oh, you done
Man,
made it home from the party?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wanted to stay there and drink, but I ain't got nobody to drive for me. So
Hey, Jay Boogie, he made a very his question was, why does it have to be white or black? Why the need to distinguish
oh
color?
man,
Well,
Jay
take it out. I
Boogie
tell
can
you
take
what, take
that
it out
shit
of the
over
job
there.
application.
Y'all didn't do that over there, man. This guy literally stated the color in the
No,
culture.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Like once you take it, dude, it's a job application, so it's applicable. The white and black thing. If you really want to get rid of color, then take it off of employment fucking applications. You
No,
know,
hold on,
take
man. Oh, all right. So
You cannot get
that
rid
is
of color for
correct.
nothing.
But
You
y'all just, a lot of people just sat there and praise this guy on the
no. We
pedestal.
try to ignore the fact or try to be like there's not a line between black and white, and there is a line. There is an
that's
imaginary
correct.
line.
The white
That's
man just
correct.
told y'all where y'all need to go. Well, he told some people where they need to go.
I don't know what he told anybody. I can just sit and go to the fact of it's always gonna be a color situation. The fact that you hear it's gonna always be a color situation, no matter what. If we can
Right.
come in
I agree.
50 years from now, 100 years from now, that's never gonna go away. Much as people say it will, it won't never die out. And the reason why it won't never die out, because I guarantee you, it's something in your family generation right now that you're doing from out of your bloodline that you have been taught by whoever taught you that you're still doing that they did maybe in the 1920s, you still doing it today. I can assure you that's happening with the black and white color regardless. It's just in there. It's never going away. You just have to learn how to work with it better. So if you're wanting everybody to be kumbaya, it's never going to be
I
like
think
that.
it's okay to be proud of your race, though. I think it's okay to be proud of your race and your ethnicity. So I mean, if there's a imaginary line that divides this country as far as black and white, then at the end of the day, we all fall up under American. So we up under.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on real quick. Hey, is that actual dirtbag trying to come on, man? I just want to make sure turn on your camera real quick. All right, that's actual. All right, dirtbag
Well,
coming in.
I agree with what Apocalypse said to a certain degree,
lines or
and I'm gonna say why Apocalypse.
Yep.
You're right. We're your race and your ethnicity are two different things. We're all under the human race.
Right.
Ethnicity is what determines whether we're black, Asian, blah 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 blah. Right. So I just wanted to make that
Now you
statement.
say that. You say
I
that. However, race is on. Like you say now that's a politically correct answer. We're all under one race, the human race. However, it does dumb me down on applications, everything, the military, your it's a race. It's a rate, what your race is. So we cannot ignore the fact that we
can
there's
I say what
African
I
American,
said
there's
though?
Caucasian, there's Asian,
Yeah.
and there's a different race. And
Well,
they
do you know?
classify race
Do
and
you know one of the
ethnicity.
reasons? You know one of the reasons why they had to do that. It was
For
several reasons over time. Go ahead, brother.
quota for one, to make sure
days
that they
for
fill certain demographics.
Can I say what I said? Can I say my true statement of what I said over there on the other
Go
Who
ahead,
is
channel?
it?
brother.
Who is that?
Because
Who is
it's
that?
misconstrued.
Kobe. He
What
jumped.
happened?
He dropped out.
Nah, I dropped him out. Nah. Say, pimp. Nah. Sit down,
No.
pimp. You gonna listen tonight, then?
So I mean,
so are
like I
you
said, I
trying to say
agree with.
no
Go ahead,
no
brother.
color line? That what guys trying to say there's no color line? There's always
Well,
a color line.
mm-hmm.
There's always going to be a color line. I'll give you an example. You turn on the news tonight and you hear somebody got shot. What the first thing come to your mind? Please don't let them be black.
Correct.
Please don't let them be. Somebody you hear school. Please don't let them be white.
Right.
You hear rape the kid. Please don't let them be white. You hear of a drug transaction. Please don't let them be black. There's always going to be some kind of hidden racism in the system. It's
Race is your skin tone, ethnicity is your culture, for the most part.
Call it what you call it. Call it what you want to call it.
I just think race is your skin tone, ethnicity is your culture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you that there's always going to be a bit of racism in everyone. Black, white, yellow, or green.
No doubt. Now, I won't disagree with you on that one. I mean, listen, the Indians over in India have what's called a caste system. The darker you are, the lower you are. We had that for years in this country, which it was basically somewhat law, but we still have it in a mindset to a certain degree within our own community. Not some, not all, but some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, the whole color thing and the race always plays a big factor. I know everybody on the panel, we wish it didn't, but the reality, it does, right?
I'll give you what I'm talking
go ahead, Bryce.
A few months ago, there was a black kid and a white kid fighting in a mall in New Jersey. It hit the news. It went viral. And when the cops got there, even though the black kid was younger than the white kid, the two police officers jumped on the black kid, even though the white kid started the whole thing, and they just let him sit there while they wrestled the black kid to the ground. They didn't even bother to try to get the white kid under control. They just left him alone while they just both tackled the black kid. And it hit the news and it went viral. But the thing is, people have prejudices. When they see things, they think a certain way. They think of somebody in a certain way without knowing their character.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bryce.
I'm curious to know, even though that happened to that black kid with the authorities.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know that what you're talking about, and I want to know what's the problem with that, with them handling the way you handle it. Did you have a problem with the authorities handling that black kid differently than they handled the white kid?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
So
how do you
why?
know? How do you know the white kid didn't have a weapon?
I don't even care if he had a weapon.
If there's two police officers there, one could have went on the black kid, and the other one could have went on the white kid, because the white kid could have had a weapon.
But they went on the most strongest one. They took the strongest one down.
No. The white kid was actually taller than the black kid.
Right. The white kid
was losing.
No, but it don't matter. Here's the thing.
Hold on. The white kid was losing. They went after the most strongest one, which was the nigga.
No, the white kid wasn't. The white kid was losing.
I thought it was an even match.
The white kid got socked in the eye, but he was on top of the black kid when the police got there. They pushed him off and then tackled the white kid.
The white kid was older.
The white kid was the oldest.
So therefore, if they're at it, if the white kid is older than the black kid and they're evenly matched, that black kid is stronger. The police went after the strongest one. Now, I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying you need to recognize how they see you and have an understanding that you're greater than everybody. They're going to always attack you harder because they know that you can whoop their ass. They're just trying to stop you before you start. They're stopping the snowball before it gets down the road.
But here's the problem with that.
What you just said, you don't think that's some kind of prejudice?
I know for a fact it's a prejudice, but you have to adjust to that. If you know,
has human natural strength, because that's basically what you're saying.
No. I'm not saying human natural strength. I'm saying that you're the most dominant race and you don't know it, and you don't even act like it. But they do. They act like you are because they know you are, so they handle you as such. And when we sit here and decide to be timid or coward towards them, they're They know that it'll show up. They just don't know when. And when it does show
Well,
up, which it do all the time, they don't never let us see it. They make sure that when the police, when niggas hop on the police ass, they don't put that on the news. They put that on the news whenever we sitting there asking them not to do nothing to us. But whenever we get up and get on there, they don't show that because they don't want that to keep happening. Because that's a snowball effect. Niggas recognize that they stronger, they start doing other things.
Well, but see, here's the problem with that situation. The problem with that situation was this: they basically, the white kid was actually saying, "Hey, I started it," and they basically dismissed him and attacked the black kid only. That's what the problem is, right? So in most of these, go ahead, Price.
They didn't secure the white kid at all. They just
No,
let
they
him
didn't.
sit. They just let him. I mean, they just jumped on the black kid, didn't secure the white kid, didn't see if he had a weapon or nothing. Well, all three of them could have been shot. The two cops and the kid.
Okay. Let me give it to you this way. You don't have to answer this honestly, but just pretend that you do. Say you have a brother or an uncle or a cousin or a friend, and let's say they're a D-boy, and they do D-boy stuff.
What's D-boy?
They sell drugs. Let's say they do that.
Okay.
And let's say it's a person that you don't know sell drugs as well. The police come and sit and say, "Hey, you Price or you such and such, you need to tell me who is selling dope, or I'm gonna take you to jail." Who you gonna tell on, your friend or the stranger?
I'm not gonna say anything at all because I know my rights, and you're not gonna force me to say anything.
Let's pretend that don't work. Let's pretend it doesn't matter. This is pretend. This is not real. This is pretend. If they sit and say, "You're going to jail, fuck the rights," you need to tell me which one of these people is selling dope, and both of them is selling dope. Which one would you tell on to save yourself?
I'm not telling on nobody.
God damn it!
I can't even pretend. I'm not telling on nobody.
Okay, well then let's pretend. Well, let's just fuck pretending. Let's just say that you have a friend that's doing bad, that's doing dirt, and you have a person you don't know that's doing dirt. And you about to win $1 million, and all you got to do is sit and tell which one is doing dirt so that they can never get $1 million ever. Who would you sit and say is doing dirt?
I can't get into these scenarios, man.
I swear I can't. Well, from my understanding, you would not tell on your friend. You wouldn't tell on him for nothing. If you had to do anything, you would sit here and tell on the stranger, which is what the police do. They don't never handle their own. They handle the strangers because they know their own. They don't know the strangers. Anytime you hear any type of racial slurs come out of somebody's mouth that's white towards a black person, it doesn't surprise you. But whenever you hear, I'm sorry, hold on, let me rephrase that. Whenever you hear a black person doing a racial slur to another black person, it doesn't necessarily surprise you. It's kind of normal. It triggers your ears when you hear a non-race person say something racial. It catches your attention because that's not normal to hear. And since that's not normal to hear, if you focus in on it, you have sensitive ears to something like that. So whenever the authorities end up having to deal with a color barrier, they're going to always protect their own, as they should. They should do that. You're supposed to always protect your own, no matter what they're doing. I know I'm cool with people who actually have murderers in their family, who have people who have done stuff, and they feel no type of fear from that murderer at all. They talk to them like they ain't nothing because they don't fear whoever that person is outside of that household and family. He's not that person inside that household and family, so they don't care nothing about that. But the outside world know a whole different person, and they would never handle them that way or even try to cross them. That's the same thing that authorities do with their own kind. When you see them handling white folks hella differently and with kitty gloves compared to any other race that you see out here, they're supposed to do that. You're supposed to look out for your own. It shouldn't be I don't like how you're doing that. You're not supposed to like that, but you are supposed to understand that had I had the power that the dominant race had, I would do the same thing because we do the same thing in our own communities. We do the exact same thing. We have hierarchies in our own areas. And we utilize those same politics amongst ourselves. It just doesn't have power outside of us.
I can't agree with
said a mouthful, bro.
I can't agree with all of that because I've seen white people that walk in some tough ass fucking neighborhoods and nothing happens to them.
Dude, those are
Nobody brings
anomalies. Those are anomalies. Those are anomalies. Those do not. You cannot get no tough ass white person to walk into every single hood and nothing happen to them. Those are anomalies. That doesn't happen consistently at all. And it only happens in areas that they know about.
That walk around and then, like I'm in Jersey City staying with my mom right now, and I see them, man. I see these white guys walking up and down the street. Some streets that I won't even walk in, they walk like it ain't nothing, and nobody fucks with them. And
I can assure you, not 100%, but if they doing something like that, most likely they are most likely fiends. They are most likely finna scope something. And so why would you bother them? I'm amongst hood niggas. I see them type of people all the time. Whenever they show us people that's strung out on drugs on television and everything, I can tell you firsthand, those are the apples that fell off the tree. That tree is still vibrant of a lot of dope fiends who are functioning. I done seen a lot of fine ass women walk right out the trap spot. And I'm like, I cannot believe this chick is doing heroin. This is a fine motherfucker.
Well, okay. Well, here's the question. Here's the question. Here's the question. Let's switch. Let's flip it to a certain degree. So basically, what you're saying is because that particular those officers have been taught that the people that look like that kid are more violent, so you have to address them a certain way versus how you dress other people, right? Because one thing I've seen is, if I'm going to get pulled over 9 times out of 10, I kind of rather it be a brother. I feel a little more safe with it being a brother. I'm going to respect the cop regardless, right? That's just the way I was taught. I believe in live to tell the story. You can't talk when you're dead. You got me? So I'm going to live to tell the story. But I think the bigger problem is we're alluding to the fact that we as a people in this country with all shades and walks of life, we are still deemed dangerous, and we're not for the most part. You know, there's a fallacy out there. They say, oh, black crime rate. Well, if you compare it to white crime rate, is less on every area, from robbery, murder, domestic violence, so on and so on and so on. It is less. But society has taught us that I can walk down the street with my dress and I'm a criminal just because of the way I look. And I think that's the question is, how do we change the fabric of that now at this point? Or do we say it's not going to change and we live and let live?
The only way you change that is you become the dominant society. And unless you finna fight for that physically, you ain't gonna never do it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me rephrase that.
No. Say it the way you said it. Say it the way you said it.
Unless you're going to fight for it physically, or you're going to fight for it politically, you won't never get it done. You won't ever get it. You will never be the dominant society. Because if I know many people thugging and they want to whoop ass or whatever, but you don't want to fight for it. That's cool. You ain't got to. If you don't want to fight for it, at least do the political work. That take the least amount of physical effort. Period. All you gotta do is figure out who your politicians are in your city and in your neighborhood, and you can fight it that way. If you don't want to sit out here feet the concrete on nobody ass, that's the easiest way to do it. Is do it politically. So if what you're asking for is something that can happen only if the tides change to where we become the dominant society. And the only way you can do it is only 2 ways. You're either gonna have to do it politically or you're gonna have to do it physically. You choose whichever one you want.
Well, it's not gonna be physically, one, because we've been taught, and it's even embedded damn near, I think, psychologically in our DNA, to be as peaceful as possible, as if peace is gonna win the day. So fighting for it physically is out of the question. Voting is 50-50. You know, voting is not sexy, and we need to encourage more people to vote. I don't care who you vote for, just vote.
Only one of them can be 100%. Neither one of them can be 50-50. You're gonna have to choose 100% in just one. If you decide 100% no fighting, cool. That means you got to do 100% politically.
Well, we got to do it 100% political, because if we did it gun versus gun, knife versus knife, we will lose because of the population. We don't have the law on our side.
I don't, homie. I don't. In your neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
literally look at your neighborhood and look at the neighborhoods across the world. Are there more hood areas / middle class areas than there are upper white areas, or the upper white areas more than the hood/middle class?
It's more middle class than anything.
It's more middle class, and then if it's more middle class, that means it's the lower population, which is mostly the hood. So if it's
Correct.
more middle class, that means it's 50-50 niggas and whites. And then you got the
Correct.
under those, which is mostly niggas. So if you have 50-50 niggas and whites, and then you have the underclass, which is 100% predominantly niggas, you have that leaves the upper class, which is predominantly white people. Now, the upper class, from my understanding, is not a lot of them up there. So
Well, they're
if you
not going to fight. They're going to send young men to fight for them. They're
so
not going to fight.
that's even more better. If they not even finna fight, that means it's more niggas in the world to fight than it is the upper class for something like that.
You
It's
refer to the
always.
word nigger. Are you talking about black and white?
I'm just talking about blacks in general. If you don't like that word, let me just say black people did. We ain't gotta break that down. Let's just say black people, Adolf's people. Let's American descendants of slaves. Let's just say that. Let's just say that instead of me saying niggas, I'm gonna say Adolf's American descendants of slavery. I'm gonna just give it like that. And if this is the case, it's more those than there are any white people in this particular environment. So if you're feeling like we can't defeat them if it had to be physically, yes, you can, because it's the numbers show that it is. Because I know for a fact when I was coming up, they used to in the 80s, they used to always come doing a census in my granny house, and she never filled that out. And in my granny house, it was more than 2 people. And so if they're not filling out the census, and fast forward to now, the census is made a little bit different. It's to help certain shit. But during that time, they were trying to figure out the populace as to where they was at. In my granny neighborhood, nobody filled that out. Nobody filled out what
there's a lot more to that too. I watched a video one time where this guy lined up black and white kids on a line on a football field. And he said, whoever gets to the line first, I will give them $100.
He gave white people a whole lot of leeway based off of what they were able to do.
What he said was, who here lives in a 2-parent home? Take 2 steps forward.
He kept moving them up. I know you're talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is going to have a meal tonight without a problem. Take 2 steps forward. Black kids still ain't moving.
Right.
Who here doesn't have to worry about whether or not rent or lights are going to be paid? The white kids taking 2 steps forward. The black kids still standing there. He said, who here is worried about their college tuition being paid? If you're not, take 2 steps forward. By the time he got finished putting all those barriers in the way, whether people want to say they're true or not, black people were so fucking far behind. Blacks and poor people were so fucking far behind that when he said go, they were so far, they were already at the finish fucking line. They didn't even have to run hard. But look at how much ground black and poor people had to make up just to try to catch up or even be in the race.
Now take that same thought process of what you just gave out and put it and try to put yourself as like a Caucasian person. Why would they feel as if the person who has the least won't attack them for what they have? Why would they feel as if, you know what, they're gonna still be okay and they're not gonna get strong enough to come after me for my shit?
You talking Nat Turner now?
There we go. So if the
well, why would you think I would you deprived me of so much? Why wouldn't you think that I would turn into Nat Turner? The problem is that white people believe that black people are going to treat them like they've treated us for so many hundreds of years.
I'm gonna break the mold on that. We are. It's going to happen. Boy, look here. How many black people you know don't like they white workers next to them? How many you know don't like them?
Well, there might be different reasons why they don't like a white worker.
Regardless of the reason, do they like them?
Hell, I don't like some black people that stand beside me, but that don't make me not like them.
I'm not asking you to be political. I'm asking you to be honest.
Okay, well, let me answer that. Let me answer that, because what we're talking about is superiority and inferiority. Right. And if the roles were switched, how would we react? It's like the blue-eye, brown-eye experiment. The reality is 9 out of 10 black people emotionally do not want to see anybody mistreated because they know how it feels. And
Yep.
if the tables were turned, we would not, as a woke
Yes.
society, would not want
The
those people
majority.
treated,
Right.
the majority. We would not want those people treated that way because we know how it is, right? I can tell you a
Hold on
personal
real quick,
story.
Theo. Hey,
Yes,
you
sir.
guys, hit that like button, man. We're going to have a goddamn commercial break. The commercial break is this, man. Say, I hear
Yeah.
everybody running up, but they ain't got on Nikes. Don't wear
Ah,
Adidas because you're going to trip when you leave the goddamn door. But anyway, hit that like button, subscribe button, and we are about to keep on going with it. We're going to get controversial. So let's go, baby. Let's go.
well, here's the thing. I can tell you a personal story. My grandfather's on my dad's side, and he had a lot of hate in his heart for people, and I never understood why. Right? And my grandmother told me when I was about 21, and I just never understood it. And she says, "Well, you got to understand.
Right.
You're raised a certain way.
Different.
You go to school with people that don't look like you. You have friends that don't look like you. You're like, okay, everything is good, but there's another reality that you live in, and I understood that. But
You didn't get the stick out of the mud like these kids be
there
saying
you
now. I
go.
went and got the stick up out the mud. You don't know what the
There
mud
you go.
is.
But his anger was addressed because he remembered at 14 with his uncle going to cut his daddy off the tree that they hung him right there in Tewan County, Edenton, North Carolina. So he had that anger. But even though he had that in him, he said he would never want to see anybody have to go through that. He said he'd never want to see anybody go through that. Now, some would say, shit, he's justifiable if the tables were turned that he can get that, right? My friend that lives up here, his friend was hung in the late 70s in Durham, North Carolina. Best friend in high school. And he was hung when he was in high school. He says he wouldn't want anybody to feel that kind of pain. And that's the difference with us. We do not want others to feel the pain that we have felt or our ancestors felt. We may for the first 15 minutes say, give me that whip. But man,
Right.
we do not wish this kind of pain on nobody. And that's
with
what people don't understand about us. You know, we don't really care for the superiority, inferiority concept. You know, I'm like James Brown. I don't need nobody to give me nothing. Just open the door. I get it myself.
Yeah.
You
and with
see what I'm saying?
with that thinking,
Everybody don't feel that way.
there's nothing wrong with that thought process. But having that thought process is the reason why the dominant society handle us the way they do, because they know majority of us, or even over 50%, don't want to do the legwork to get that done. Which is, I don't want you to feel like me. So since you don't want me to feel like you, I'm gonna keep handling you this way. It's a sucker born every day. I'm a person who believes if you can get him, keep getting him until he stops. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna train this person to either be a worse sucker or you're gonna make them tougher. One of the two. I don't have an issue with nobody not wanting to give nothing bad to their oppressors. That if that's how they feel, by all means, that's how they feel. But your oppressor is sitting behind your friend that's not your oppressor, and they're hurting you. And you're looking at them as if they're your friend, and they're not.
We don't believe that. We don't believe that every white person is our friend. We don't believe that.
No.
Everybody looks at every white person with hate.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Can I interject this, man? We was having a good dialogue the other day. It was from all walks of life. We even had ladies on this platform, and everybody was speaking their truth and giving people advice and insight. But then we had this person come up here and try to be relevant to the topic of discussion. And they went on about this story. And a lot of people their hearts was pouring out for that individual. Where they were like, okay, giving the advice, even Mr. Price. Mr. Price even poured out his heart and his empathy for the person. And a lot of guys chimed in. People that was on the road driving chimed in, gave some positive de-escalation tools, some techniques. And to find out today, we were just made a mockery of. And then this motherfucker pulled out his soapbox and say the Caucasians need to go to this race. And you blacks, y'all fall so easy to Christianity. But people showed him empathy. People showed him respect. People poured out their heart. And I'm going to say this, and I'm only speaking from my standpoint, that is the most dog cowardice shit I ever heard of for a person to do that. That's just like the person that would infiltrate a church, that will open their doors and welcome you with open arms, and you would turn around and hurt the people that's
Like,
there to help you.
like the people in South Carolina at that church when they
Yeah.
welcomed
Mm-hmm.
whatever
Sound kind of right to me.
that guy's name, and he was in there praying with those people on his hands and knees to his God, and then you still, after all of that, you turn a gun on those people.
And
Hell
you mean to
ain't
tell
good
me
enough.
you don't
Hell
want the
ain't
same
good
for
enough.
him?
Hell
And
ain't
you mean
good.
to tell me you don't want the same for him? Like, you know, you deserve.
No.
You mean to tell me that you don't want the same for him?
I don't want the same for him, but he has to pay the price of whatever that price may be. If the price is, then that's the price he has to pay.
You're the judge of this here. I know you hate pretend, but you're the judge. What's his price? $50?
Well, if somebody brings up a death penalty and he hits all the marks, and the jury decides that he has to die, he has to die.
I said you. I didn't say the jury. This is pretend. I know you hate pretend price. I said you. And this is just pretend. We're not holding you to this here. If you're the judge, jury, and executioner,
would that make me any better than him if it was only up to me and not the law?
Yeah, it makes you. It makes you
Well,
better.
here go the thing. Here go the thing. So let's dial it back. Let's dial it back on that. What I want to get to is this, and I want you guys to continue on your dialogue. Is that you come into an open discussion. We was having a great vibe. All the truckers, Theo dropping game, Price bringing up good times. We got Black Heavyweight. Not that particular night, but we all about business. And for somebody to come in about a very serious topic as if it was personal, then to find out why you didn't know it was a lie. Well, we didn't take it for that. We took it for face value. We took this because you brought this up as a trucking community. We come together. We didn't try to validate your story. We don't try to pull your card. But then you flip around and say, prove that I was telling the truth. When the fuck we got to do that when we show you empathy and we show you honesty?
That point, OB, I understand what you're saying.
This is what I'm tired of seeing, because me personally, what I do in this business, what I do in this trucking industry, I'm tired of these fucking rats showing up, causing disruption, then get on their fucking soapbox, start preaching. Fuck their goddamn preaching. Fuck them. Fuck them. Then throw out threats. Then say run up. Then talk about things. But this is the person that came to us, this whole panel, every gentleman and woman that's on this panel or the subscribers, and let out his heart. We didn't ask him about his heart. He told us where his heart was. He told us where he was facing. He told us the things that was on his mind. And we showed nothing but empathy. And shout out to the subscribers. Y'all all right. Y'all are correct. How could you allow him on this? And I got up on the board and I said, hey, man, we're going to let a man speak. And every man, you got men on this board that served this country, that been in war, that seen what I can't even imagine to see. You got men on this panel that study history and seen images that I haven't even seen. But we all came together to help this individual, and then to turn around and spit in our motherfucking face as if this is a game. Then want to say that he knows the righteousness. He could tell you about religion. He could tell you who you should pray to, what Bible, how many books, scriptures, what to read on the wall. And y'all look up to that shit as That is truth. When the truth just been before your eyes. And I digress.
So if I can take from what you said, part of our problem, I'm paraphrasing. I've said this before. Black people in this country, we have a DNA flaw. The flaw is to accept everybody at any cost. Sometimes we can't pay the cost back when we do that, right? We want to be neutral all the time. We want to basically treat everybody the way we're treated, but we haven't received the same response. Uh, and it is a problem. It is a problem because sometimes
Oh, we gonna address it tonight, man. I'm hitting the red button. We gonna address it tonight. We gonna make it clear. I know I'm gonna make it clear to some of these motherfuckers. They turn around. They ain't nothing but fucking criminals and fried chicken eating motherfuckers. If you know what's in your heart and you know what you want out of life, you don't need validation. Because last time I understood, you only validate yourself. They ain't fucking prison. I don't compare anything to prison because I haven't experienced it. And I don't want to experience it. And I'd be damned if I be in a jail cell with another goddamn stranger has to validate the reason I have to breathe. But you say you believe in religion and a higher power. When you got your focus on man. Let's go. Sorry about that, Theo.
No, you're
Can I
fine.
add
You're
in here
fine.
for a second?
Sure.
This is my personal beliefs, and I'm pretty sure y'all's ain't too far from it. Pretty much what's going on out in the world, it's simple. You have earth, resources, and power. Now, if you don't have earth, you can't get any resources. If you don't have any resources, you can't get any power. Now, Canada has their power. The United States has their power. Mexico has their power. So does Colombia, Cuba, the different countries of Africa, Russia, and China, and everybody else. We can't have power unless we have what makes power. Because with earth, you can till the soil to get resources out of the ground by having plants and animals that can graze on it that you can raise your people on. You can create things like your cell phone and technologies that come out of that earth, which in turn turns into something that you can sell to another country to have an economy. And all of those things add up. Then you have the power that you can get from that when you can make tools or you can make things that you can defend yourself from if someone north of you, south of you, east of you, or west of you decides that they want to take what you have. But it's just like Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, he runs in the Olympics, and we all know who he is. Or you may not. He wears colors of Jamaica. He doesn't wear colors of black folks because black folks aren't represented in the Olympics. You have to be a recognized country to compete in the Olympics. So we can keep going around in circles as a culture of people, but we have to start one way or the other. It's not going to be civil rights. It's not going to be equality. It's not going to be one of these other genre types of music ways of looking at it. We're going to have to do the hard foundational work that every other culture has done. And it's going to take some sacrifice, and it's going to take that stuff that people with amounts of wealth and resources aren't trying to give up because stuff is going good. But either way, you're not going to get there unless you put the work in. My bad. Unless we put the work in as a culture of people, because we wait. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. I'm almost finished. And because we as a culture of people, and I love black folks. I've lived in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. But one of the most eye-opening things was spending time in Canada and living in North Dakota. Made me see us and everyone else differently, because I finally started to see that we're in a competition. And the competition is for earth, resources, and power. But if you don't have any of that, you're not recognized on the global stage. That's why black folks are not recognized on the global stage. When I say black folks, I am not talking about Africans, because Nigerians can go back to Nigeria. Ugandans can go back to Uganda. Mexicans can go back to Mexico. Canadians can go back to Canada. Black folks don't have somewhere to go if somebody decides, you know what, we don't like you anymore and we don't want you. Not only that, they've been telling us that for quite some time. We just ain't getting the point. So if you're in a situation where you have just as much right to planet Earth, I, Jerry Wayne Page, I have just as much right to planet Earth. So does my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my nieces and nephews that'll inherit this earth when I'm dead and gone and ain't nothing but dust.
Okay.
My people have just as much of a right to this planet as anybody else. The thing is, it's our responsibility to make sure that we reach out and grab it and go grab it, take it, hold it. Not only hold it, but make sure we pass down the importance of keeping it, cherishing it, and maintaining it for the generations that come after us, instead of us getting something and losing it. Because we've been tricked plenty of times before.
All
We've been
right,
made a
JP.
mockery of plenty of times before. But we can do this. It just takes us accepting that, hey, if you ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, what we got to lose?
So what's the work that got to be done?
Us versus everybody else, just like it's always been everybody else versus us.
But what is the work though? I know it's us. What is the work that has to be done?
We're gonna have to take what's ours. We're gonna have to, me, you, and everybody else, what part of this earth do we want? Personally,
No, I
in
hear
my
that.
opinion,
I'm saying, what is the work?
we like the southern states, so let's take the southern states. We like places with green and trees and relatively warm, so let's take this part of it.
Well, JP, but here's the thing. You do know that, and maybe you didn't. You do know that Malcolm X, I think it was around 64, 65. He met with the head of the KKK, and they had agreed that they was going to push to divide the country and give blacks certain states. That was a
No,
fact.
I'm not interested in anybody
No,
giving.
I'm just giving you assumptions, right? So when that happened, it didn't go through because that's when the federal government really stepped in and started putting their foot on Malcolm's neck, because not only had he traveled abroad and was trying to bring sanctions against this country, he was able to sit down with one of the biggest terrorists at that time of this country and say, hey, you know what, maybe it's best we do separate. You take this and you take that, right? But if we did it from your logic, we would have to start out with getting everybody knowledgeable of what's their worth. The knowledge is where we're lacking. We're not lacking physicality. We're lacking the knowledge of understanding what we are worth.
But also look around us, man. We have the thing called the internet. We can use any tool that's available to us.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this trial, man. I
What's
just
going on,
want
brother?
to hey, what's up, Theo? OB. Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I was driving, so I couldn't type. But you were just saying that we should take, what we want. How you think that's going to go? Because the Black America control nothing. We produce nothing. We don't have the arms, the power to do none of it. Like, that's a losing fight.
No. That's not a losing fight. If you never had anything and you begin fighting to gain ground, it's like if you're standing inside your house and you're trying to get outside to get somewhere. If you don't start making steps to get there, how are you going to get outside?
My opinion is,
but it seems
the
complicated.
start is being
It's like when
separate.
people say that, hey, we can't do it because we don't have the numbers. Yes, we do. We have the numbers. You just never tried.
I think Tribe is trying to say we need a seat at the table.
No, no, no,
Maybe
no, 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 no. Don't want to sit at those table.
okay.
We want the earth that's ours. And either our brothers and sisters on planet Earth, which are the other cultures, we can refer to them in colors: white, red, orange, brown, blue, whatever you want. We have just as much a right to it as anybody else. Everybody else
I
has
get what
already
you're
set the
saying.
standard on how to get it. They fought for it or they took it from somebody else. There ain't been no in between with somebody saying, hey, we're going to use politics and we're going to get our peace. Ain't nobody got their peace like that. Nobody. If they didn't fight for it, they got it taken from them, or it was some kind of desert, horrible place to live that nobody wanted.
There is no peace without war.
I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm not trying to be angry, but I don't really get many opportunities to really tell people, like talk about people with stuff like this. But I love black folks. I love black folks in a I don't know how to put that into words. When I lived in North Dakota, I longed to be around y'all because there's not a lot of y'all up there. And I would always find myself coming back home. I love black folks the way I love my mama and my brothers and sisters. But one thing I haven't seen us try at least once. Just once in my lifetime. Just try. You never know. I didn't know that I would be a truck driver until I tried to go get my CDL. I'm not making this complicated. I'm keeping it simple. I didn't know that I could go work in the oil field until I went up there and tried. I'm not asking for a lot here.
Honestly, you're not asking for too much of nothing. I'm not being shit. You're not asking for too much of nothing, but you are asking for a whole lot from people who don't do. You're asking people to go to work who won't work.
But I would like to see it before I die, bro.
And for what it's worth, to be honest, it you haven't seen it in your lifetime. But if you look through history, it has always happened. It has always happened. It has always been an uprising of trying, and it just don't get it all the way there because the people that's needed for it, they won't risk what they have.
And you're right.
Some people are content in the current system that we're in.
It's not necessarily content. It's just it's a way of life that wasn't given to them. Like case in point, the reason why somebody wouldn't help you get a better position in your job that they have is because they came from where you was at that they didn't like, and somebody higher above gave them a position that they like, and they let them know it's not a lot up here for everybody. So protect this here. And so they make it to where you can't come up there because it's not enough. It's the same situation for what you're saying. Like nobody will risk what they already have gotten because they come from something. They already come from nothing. They don't want to go back to nothing again. They was blessed with the American dream, and they don't want to go back to the slums. Like, man, look, I got the American dream, even though they probably got it out the mud or somebody handpicked it and gave it to them. They've tasted the American dream or whatever they consider it to be. They don't want to fight nothing for that. They won't risk nothing for that. And so the powers that be, they know that is what's happening. If people play the lottery who don't have money because they want to get it. And once they finally get it, anybody who won the lottery don't ever play it again because they've already gotten there and they don't want to risk nothing else no more. So what you're asking for, you're asking people who are already in a position that are having the American dream, which is the CDL drivers or whatever company that they're able to provide themselves with a living that's comfortable that they like. You asking them to give that up and fight for something better that they can't see. Like it doesn't get more better than this unless you want me to be a millionaire. And if that's the case, I know what type of fight is gonna have to go for that, and I don't want to do it.
I mean, we ain't just because we driving trucks don't mean nothing.
No. To some bullshit. Because before you was driving trucks, you was doing something that you didn't like, and you got to be a driver. Like you was. I don't know what you did. I was doing stuff I didn't like before I started driving trucks, and I do it part-time now. But before I was driving trucks, I wanted to drive trucks because I didn't like where I was at. So I went and done something to increase my value, and I was able to drive a truck because I wanted to get there.
So
and once I got
you content where you at right now?
I was content when I had got the driving job
No, I'm
until I
talking about
wanted something else.
right now, or you could sit where you at.
Yeah, where I'm at, I'm content, and until it start getting unhappy, I do something better. But you're asking people who are content to do something, and why would I? Like if you'd have asked me when I first got my trucking job to, hey, you know what, man, let's go over here and fuck up McDonald's so that we can do some stuff. I would ask why. Like why do I want to bother McDonald's? Why would I want to bother them when I have a trucking job? I'm making 20, 40, 50, whatever I was making at that time. Why you want me to risk that to go bother McDonald's? You're asking people who are in a position that they're comfortable in to get uncomfortable when they don't see the value in doing that.
But isn't that how we grow?
People grow when they're hurt, not when they're happy.
Yeah,
People grow
Yeah.
when they
through
step
affliction.
outside of their normal routine.
The only
If
way
their normal routine is hurt and pain, then stepping outside of that normal routine would be comfort, love, care.
and they're always shooting for that. They're always shooting for that. And when they get it, they're comfortable until that's uncomfortable again.
Then it's about
I'm gonna
time
say,
for us to get it until we are uncomfortable. It's about time for us to get what's ours until we are uncomfortable. Because obviously we've been uncomfortable for some decades or some centuries now. So it's about
Yeah,
time for us to get
centuries.
our level of comfort. I do know what you're saying, and I absolutely understand you because, hey, people that are in positions where stuff is going good, and we got to be honest, we're living a life in today's world that 100 years ago our people couldn't even think of. I agree with you, bro.
What you got to
But
say about that, Price?
Well, I'm just listening, but the reality of basically having a kind of sort of civil war, because that's what it would be.
no, not a civil war, because you have to be in something. They've already made it clear that we're not with them. They've never wanted us a part of them. They just want us to be their fuel. Okay, fine. If they see it that way, I'm not interested in black folks being fuel anymore. And if we are going to be fuel, we're going to fuel our own. So that when you pay your taxes, we pay our taxes to us, to go to our schools, to go to our infrastructure, to fix our pipes in the ground when it's leaking and it's mercury and all kinds of stuff coming through our water, whether it's Flint or it's Jackson, Mississippi. All I'm saying that we have just as much of a right to it as anybody else does.
I'm gonna
We
say
just
this.
have to
That's
reach
why.
for it.
And black, right? But I mean, you're saying ours, but do you know the Indian is just as much culpable with getting the same things that we're asking for because this was their land. That was
No. They lost it. They fought. They lost. If you lose a fight, you lost it. Am I right or wrong?
And
but
we lost.
but
Yes,
if
and we
we lose
lost too.
in a fight, yeah,
All
exactly.
right then. If we have
Our
lost,
ancestors.
that doesn't mean that we can't fight again. What if we're gonna
And
look
we
at
are
it from
living
that
in a
perspective?
time right now that fight, what you're talking about, is not going to work. We need more unity. We need to. That's why my belief. That's why I love the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives you law, statute, and commandments. It make you separate. When you become holy, you become separate outside of a system as far as you're not following their holidays and going out spending money. You're not doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? So we need an umbrella to come under, and we need
Brother, you're right.
rules, something
You're right.
something to follow.
Brother, you're right. And I agree with you 100%. Where in the Bible does it say, where does God say that we won't have to deal with or contend with our other brothers and sisters on planet Earth?
Say it again. Say it again.
Huh?
Say it again.
Huh? Where
Say it
does it
again.
say in the Bible that we aren't going to have to contend with? You know what contend means? It also means like to wrestle, like to contend with, to joust with. Where
Are
does
you
it
saying?
say that we're not going to have to contend or deal with or have
Are
to
you saying
fight
fight? Are
our
you
brothers
saying
and
fighting?
sisters on
The
planet
Bible
Earth?
speak
When
of
I
that.
say
The
fight,
Bible speak of
what,
that when it say nation against nation. The Black America, you look, we're a nation in itself. You know what I'm saying? So if it's saying nation against nation, automatically that's a war against different sects of people. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Hold on. Because you have a culture, which black folks are a culture. Black folks aren't a nation. We're a culture. We're a
We're a
collection of
nation.
people that have a unity around one life, and that life is our skin, our hair, our way that we talk, our way that we carry ourselves. That's a culture of people. A nation is when you go from being a culture into an established, this is who we are and this is our way. And if you're going to be amongst us, around us, if you're going to deal with us, this is the way you're going to deal with us. We have not established that yet. Then from a nation to an empire, we can't even have that conversation.
You're right.
But I
You gotta start off with identifying who you are as a people.
We already have.
That's how you started.
If that's the
It
case,
ain't black or African Americans or anything like that.
We are black
what is
folks because we are a mixture
Because
of.
black ain't a country. You can't go. You can't go back to black.
I said black folks. Just like Jamaicans are Jamaican. Nigerians are Nigerian. Ugandans are Ugandans. They've already got there. So we can claim ours just as righteously as they claim theirs and they fight for theirs. So unless you want to argue the semantics about whether black folks is a proper name or not, because we're a collection of people just like the Cherokee. The Cherokee Indian means mixture.
What you got to add to that, Theo?
Mixture of black folks.
Okay, I can kind of give a breakdown since what you're giving out as to where supposedly we don't have a say as far as our name is who we call ourselves. I suggested earlier, because I heard it online or whatnot. You can pretty much consider anybody who's a black person. You can pretty much consider them an Adolf person, which is an American descendant of slavery. Since we don't know where we come from in Africa, we do know where we're at here.
ADOS. I agree.
And so, since that's the case, if you want to have a name, take that name because it represents you. You saying black, other people can sit and say, well, Indians are black. Some Asians are black. Some Mexicans are black. They can give out that.
You don't hear nobody.
Africans are black. The whole diaspora in Africa.
They claim that they're all
they don't even recognize black because that's all of them is that. So they don't even recognize that.
Because they all got their cultures.
They don't recognize African either. They call themselves by their tribe.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're the only people that say African. So
what you're describing is a lineage. They have it as to where we don't have it from there.
Bullshit.
So
we can
so if they have it,
we know where we come from in the past 100 years, so we can claim that. So can't nobody take that from us and be like, hey, y'all ain't nothing because y'all don't come from somewhere.
So that's what I said. You are an American descendant of a slavery. You know this part. You don't know where you come from over the boat. You don't know this here.
Yeah, we know.
That part. How does he come from over the boat?
How does he know?
I'm not looking for a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, bro.
So since you're right here, you claim what this one is. You claim what this one is, which is you're a descendant of a slavery and you're an American.
Who do you call your brothers? Who do you call your brothers as far as another country? Because I heard that you said the Nigerians and all of them, they already got they land and everything, and it's like we need
the Haitians,
to take ours.
Jamaicans.
So who are you? He ain't say Haitians or Jamaicans. So I'm saying, who do you identify?
I identify with another person who was a descendant of slavery.
What about Jamaicans was descendant of slavery? Haitians?
They are descendants of slavery in
Brazilians,
Jamaica, and they already have who they are. They
don't have who they are. No, they don't.
They are
got
Jamaican.
Wait, they do, bro. They
are Jamaicans. They have them.
Jamaica.
Haitians have Haitian.
Exactly.
They have this.
Man, I don't identify with no Jamaicans, no Haitians. I identify with the African American, the ones over here that survive by whatever means. Whether it's by slavery.
As an African American.
Yes, it is.
Whatever you want to call it.
It is.
Your oppressors is still running Jamaica. It's still running Haiti.
The what?
You know what I'm saying? Like the Haitians ain't running Haiti. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the Haitians'
Your
fault.
so-called
The Haitians
your
gotta
so
go deal with
My
their
man,
problem.
you were completely wrong. Haitians do run Haiti. This is why they don't not why nobody works with Haiti. They that's the poorest country because they run their own, and the government's made sure does not do any business and trade with them. This
there
is
you
why
And
go.
they
Europe
They
been
run.
screwing them
left them
since
a rock. There
forever.
you go. There you go.
Well, now, well,
No,
wait a
it's
minute. When
true.
we
They
talk
had a
about
war. That's very true. They had a
when
war to
They
when
will
we
defend
talk
and they
about
will
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah. Matter
the
of fact, they killed
Haitians,
their own. They killed their own to survive in
first.
order to
yeah,
They
but
defend
did
themselves.
they
here's
killed
the
their
thing
own
though.
first before they
But
went to the colony. They killed their own
what,
first to get rid of the problem.
That's right.
correct, but
That's right.
here's the thing. The problem with the Haitians are, remember now, the Haitians are the reason why um, we have the southern half of the United States from Florida all the way up, Jesus Christ, damn near up to Nebraska,
Because
right?
they fought first. They fought,
They
yeah,
fought
yeah.
first and they
Uh-huh.
bankrupted a country. They won. Now,
Right.
that has always been a settlement in the European nations and the
Yep.
powers that be. We would never allow this country to grow and prosper. Remember, the United States went in there, and I think it was about 1906, and went and took all the gold out of their reserves. Let's not forget what Bill Clinton did with the rice farmers. Convinced
So they
them that
still
it's
getting
better
oppressed,
to.
it sounds
That's
like.
right. Yeah, to convince them it's better to get our
There you
rice
go.
than grow their own rice. And now they can't feed their own people. So Haiti has been punched over and over and over again. Remember, Haiti was one of the richest nations for its resources when Christopher Columbus came over because of the lumber and gold
It was the sugar. It was the
and the
sugar.
sugar too. Yes. So now we're looking at Haiti and saying, well, this is a country that fought, but they're in a construct where nobody wants to deal with. Even Jamaica broke away from the British rule and the Queen, but guess what? Nobody, no, there's a hard tariff against them selling their own plantains. So they're not even making money off the resources. So my thing is, we have to gain the knowledge and understand the system and the power construct before we go Yosemite Sam or guns a blazing.
Well,
I'm
it
with
You
you,
sounds like
understand?
you're
Theo.
talking
I'm
about
with you,
politics.
Theo.
Theo, on that one.
That sounds like nothing but politics right there, which is Haitians and
You know,
Jamaicans. They figured out how to do the what?
politics in
They figured
a
out how to
nation
do the
have
what,
politics.
but they didn't gather the politics for this here because that's a political move. Which is, hey, we're not going to work with them. That's a political move, and we do this in our own societies every damn work. Whether it's a job, whether it's a job or school, it's cliques, everything. It's politics, and it sounds to me like you're speaking about politics as to where they already had the war situated. They had the muscle. They just didn't have the politics to go with the muscle, and both of them go together. When you run it right,
Right,
politics and muscle together, you get America. You get
Correct.
right,
Europe.
right.
But
That's exactly
to
what that
tip
is.
on what JP 3000 said, my thing is this: we have to control our resources, i.e., our dollar. We have to stop watching our dollar, give it to somebody in our community, and it only moves once. It goes out of our hand and it's out of the community. Most Jewish community, the dollar goes around 10 times before it leaves. We have to control our resources first. If we don't understand the resources, how powerful we are. Listen, I say this all the time. Our spending power is bigger than Russia's GDP. We have to start there. Yes, that's political. I get it. But we until we tackle that part, the guns are blazing is irrelevant because you don't have no
Theo.
power.
Theo. I
Go ahead,
understand
baby.
what you're saying. And I agree with you, bro. Powernomics or something else. Claude Anderson wrote the book on it.
That's my favorite, one of my favorite black authors.
Dude, hey, homeboy, go deep. He go
Yes, he
deep,
does.
bro.
Break it down to the white meat.
And Theo, man, I agree with you. The thing with Haiti is Haiti fought and won the battle and some of the war, but they couldn't keep Europe off of them. You know, so
Correct.
it's like fighting somebody and you win in the first round, but you ain't got the longevity to keep winning round after round until the fight is over with.
And here's the thing. Here's what people don't understand with that construct of what you just said. Understand the Egyptians fought a 2,000-year war. European nation after European nation after European nation, right? It was an constant wave of fighting.
Attrition.
World War One was
Yeah.
that's right. World War One was originally The original reason for World War One was the battle over the resources in Africa, because now the Dutch had such a large control from years. Now the Germans want it, the Sweden want it, Finland want it. So now they was going into the African continent, and they was going crossing over territories and battling for the resources. I.e., we had World War One. It was actually for the battle of the resources on the continent of Africa. People can look this up.
Yeah.
It's very prevalent there. So we have to understand we got to get our buying power right. We got the money, but yes, it's going to be political. It's going to be physical, but you can't do it in reverse. We saw what happened with Haiti. So we got to learn. Haiti didn't have their finances right in order to do that. I.e., they didn't decide, you know what, we're going to make ways with a country across the water with people that look like us. Let's start a trade with them first. Let's implement that before we go into this war that we went into. If you look at right now in society, what's going on? Okay, everybody hates China from the U.S. standards and the European standards because they're investing in Africa. In other words, we're not going to bomb you. We're going to build your roads,
They're
and
not
guess
very
what?
smart.
We're going
They're
to
not
we're going
very
to get the
smart,
resources.
Theo.
Well, tell me if I'm
They're
wrong.
not. They're. No, I'm
They're looking
saying
at
they're not
trade.
very smart
China's
because
looking at
if
trade.
it was me,
Correct.
after they won, I would have tried to sell the whole fucking side of the island that they have, and I'd have went back to Africa, took the money, and built a new civilization somewhere else. That's out in the ocean, hurricanes and everything else. They're
Correct.
not very smart. They're not very smart. They've stayed there. I would have sold the whole thing and just moved as a people, as a group.
If that's the
I get
case,
what
they
you're
could
saying.
say that. They could say that about us when they
We
so-called
Moving
don't own
freed us.
shit. We don't have
moving
nothing.
of people
When
is
hold
very
on, when
easy
they
thing.
so-called freed us, we didn't know what to do.
We didn't have no
We
land.
we didn't know what
Thank
I'm
you.
talking about.
Thank you.
Leaving
No, the
the
slave ship said
so-called country.
it was like turning out cattle. What they said is
Yeah.
slaves. It was
Well, how
like
can you know
turning out
what to
cattle.
do if you've been locked in chains for you're a 40-year man,
Yeah, but by now,
right?
it's just like desolate.
Correct.
I
Hold
mean,
on.
Correct.
I,
Right.
But
I
So
wouldn't want to
but
be over there.
but then
the
they give us
mindset.
like
I want to go back to the slavery thing. The mindset of a 45-year-old slave who's just been released. What do? I have nothing. My family may or may not be alive. Some slaves were released and they wanted to go back into slavery because it was a fact of normancy,
That's
right?
true.
That's
Yes,
what it
bro.
was. So
I read that book too, bro.
yeah, they was
Yes.
culturally conditioned to think that this was an everyday life. Some of them, listen, I never forget talking to my uncles when I was 9 and 10 years old. The one who brought me my first dog, and he told me, he says, "Man, when I was 15, we used to battle, see who can pick the most cotton." I said, "You got to be kidding me." That was the mindset. Now, he was no slave. That was his job. But it was a mindset put in place. So now we got to look at the mindset of a slave coming out. But once the slave was able to do his thing, he became very prosperous.
Yes.
I.e., that's what ended us with the Red Summer of 1919, the prosperity. I.e., that's what ended up with the Patterson Car Company, first black car company before Henry Ford, which was way better than Henry T. Ford. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand the knowledge that we have. I'm political, but damn it, I'm about throwing these hands. But at the same time, I understand that money is what they respect. They don't
They
respect
do.
me walking down the
Right
street
about
talking about
now.
Black Lives Matter. They don't
Sure.
respect that. They respect me when I decide and 200 other black people decide, hey, we're not shopping at the Shell gas station no more.
I'm with you, Theo. But the thing right now was hard. What we're gonna run into is we don't control resources. Of course,
Correct.
it's a couple black people that got farms and shit, but they ain't got enough for communities. You know what I'm saying? So
But Try, admit this. Well, I'm not gonna say admit it, but let me ask you this: in order for us, and we were the largest farmers at one point. Until they did the 1882 Homestead Act. I can't remember if it was 1882 or 1865. We were the largest farmers in this country, right? That was the main source of income. That's where your black historical schools that all have AT behind it, Agricultural and Technical College. That's what it was for. because you went to school to learn how to be a farmer, how to produce, how to make farming better, right? So we get all that, but here's the thing. We have to change the mindset of those that are living now to actually want to try to grow your food. Why do you want to go to Whole
Hold on,
Foods?
hold on,
Or
hold on,
go ahead,
Theo.
brother.
Hey man, we're gonna have a commercial break, man. Say, drop the deal if you know it's real, baby. Hit that like and subscribe button. Now
Correct.
let's switch the gears, man. Let's switch the gears because you know, yeah, I think everybody proved the point. I think we having a very healthy dialogue.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's healthy right here. Right, you still with us,
It's
Mr.
Yeah, I'm
all
Blackhead?
talking. No, yeah,
it-
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
but
here.
I
Yeah,
have
I'm
a
here.
different perspective.
What you got,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Black Heavyweight?
Well, I was looking. I hitchhiked for about 6 years. I was looking for, man, if we could just come together as a group, buy some land,
I'm
and
sorry.
start our own community, man. And I know people don't like this guy, but I liked him. I don't give a fuck what he did. Malachi York at least created his own community. He had his own schools. The children were speaking 2 languages. And yeah, he was a creep, but he had the right idea. And I don't know why people like Farrakhan don't just buy some land and start something.
It's a dude named Pastor Dow who done that. He
They
like a
killed him.
preacher.
They
Pastor
killed
Dow.
him.
Yeah.
No, Pastor
Yep.
Dow's still alive. Pastor Dow's still alive. Look him
Oh,
up
he
on
still
YouTube.
do. He got
No,
this
Pastor
community
Dow is dead.
all over.
No,
No, Pastor
no, the
Dow ain't
dude.
dead.
He from
He young.
Tennessee.
He
He
Is
from
this the one?
Tennessee.
Is
what,
this the
50?
brother with the bald head?
No, he got
Uh,
like he like a former military dude. He got him a little homestead in Tennessee.
Okay,
It's
okay,
called
I got you.
Straightway. Straightway.
I got you. Oh,
Huh.
yeah,
but
that
they
brother. I don't.
he
Let me
all
say
around the
something.
United States though.
Well, let me
Yeah.
say
He
this. I'm gonna say this about Pastor Dow. He has the blueprint of
Yeah.
what we should do. That's all I can say. The rest, I don't agree with none of the crap he said. But he
Cause he
does
mixed
have the blueprint.
he mixing it in with white people and shit, which I don't know why he did it that way, but he does. He does have a blueprint the way he has the homestead set up. Like got
Correct.
the little gardens, the greenhouses, and all that stuff. That's what we should be doing. That's what I think.
No
Like
doubt.
if we could do it
There's a
that way.
woman, a husband and woman couple that do the same thing. The guy's got the bald head. His wife, Deborah, she's always doing videos. I agree with that. And I'm going to tip tap what I was saying, then I know Daryl wants to switch it up. Why are we going to pay in a grocery store for chemically enhanced food when we
That's
should
right.
come together and try to figure out how to grow our own food, right?
You know why? Our parents, wait a minute, our parents? No, our grandparents dropped the ball. Because I know when I was younger, I used to go to Mississippi, spend my summers down there, and my aunts and them, my great aunts, they used to can food and raise their own hogs and shit. And once the civil rights era came up, boom, everybody could sit down and had to go in the back door, and everybody just kind of intermingled. That
You,
integration was kind of the death of
you know
us.
what? My father
that was
used to
propaganda too.
always say, we haven't been right since we started drinking out of the fountain with them. My
Uh-huh.
father
Yep.
Uh-huh.
always say that.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mhm.
That pretty
In
much
other words,
that pretty much
King.
sound like what I said.
In other
Like
words,
We don't know
King
how to do
sold
none of
us a
that stuff.
King
we
sold
got
us
to
a
American
bag
dream.
of goods that wasn't that good, and he realized it a year
Fool's
before
gold.
he died. He
Yep.
realized what he was doing. We was not gonna be accepted, and that's why towards the end, in the beginning, it was kumbaya. At the end,
Yeah. Yeah.
we want resources. He understood we needed resources, like everybody else needs resources, right? We needed
Marcus Garvey is what we need.
the same money that we're spending taxes on. We need that back in our community. So what I'm saying, that's where he realized towards his end. What I'm saying is now we got to support those that look like us first before we start complaining about the community that's so bad. You get what I'm saying? That's
See,
how
but
we
Facts,
is
got to do it.
democracy
facts.
is democracy the problem? Because like we run these cities, and when we get in charge of these cities, it's democracy that kills us because we're using
Well, we need
taxes.
to think about republic. We need that's
Well, I'm saying the tax,
yeah, the taxes and things, but they redirect it. Like for instance,
Yeah, it's like for like benefits and stuff, for which is good, but it's still democracy. Democracy instead of a community approach, it's the selective approach.
yeah,
Hey, OB,
yeah. What's up with Pimp?
I want to say thank y'all, man. I knew there was a reason I came across y'all. Like just randomly one night
Man,
a couple weeks ago, I came across y'all. And I'm not trying to start nothing on your channel, and I ain't gonna bring this up no more.
man,
But I
what's
want to
up,
say
Pimp?
thank y'all. 'Cause
Oh man, you ain't starting nothing, man. Just here go the
no,
thing about this. Here go the
I'm just
thing,
saying what's
Pimp.
on my mind, man. And
Man,
He sounds
this
like
is
a
what it should
troublemaker.
be, Pimp.
He sounds like a troublemaker.
Man,
We
man, I
have
can
our
smell the
moments,
criminals,
though.
man. I go and do
oh
what
man,
I
come
do,
on
right?
now, bro.
Man, I go and do what I do. And I ain't tooting my own fucking horn. But I do what I do and I'm still standing.
All right.
And I try to give out the knowledge. People are like, why don't you share anything? I'm sharing it.
Mhm.
Why don't you do this? I'm doing it. Why don't black people need to do this? I'm doing it. But one thing I can say, and I'm going to stand on this goddamn soapbox and say it. I've encountered so many motherfucking chameleons along
Yeah.
this path.
Mm.
I know how to identify them motherfuckers. I know how to give them what they want. Listen to what they're saying.
Mm.
People want to say, y'all want to get in your fucking feelings. Research them. Look at what they're saying. Research what I say.
Mm.
And you would notice the ones that don't want the black man to speak.
Mm.
They start attacking your family. They say they'll run up. See, they glorify this dumb shit. They glorify it. But then black folks, man, why don't you do more of this? Why don't you just heard a motherfucker just praise that shit? Running up. Oh, you taking the wrong way. Then give me your daughter address. Tell me where your daughter sleep at.
All right.
Let me go knock on her window. And then put it on Facebook and be like, ha ha, it's just a prank, nigga.
Well,
See, y'all like to glorify this shit. Y'all like to glorify the gangs. That's
I know
what's
that's
happened to
why
our youth. Our
what got
youth
me.
are dying every motherfucking day. And you
That's
want to
right.
glorify the shit that's taking them off this goddamn earth?
I just think it's the music, bro. It's that's rap, and don't get me
Well,
wrong.
it's
I
people
listen to
out here
that.
that
No,
glorify
I
it.
don't give up. That is
It
our
contributes
Achilles
to it.
heel. When Two Live Crew, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
rap just
I
got
see
out
what
of
you're saying.
control, bro. It just got out of control.
So, man,
But the thing
when
is,
I say
who
that, hold on real quick.
control?
Hold on. So when I get on here and I go on people's stations and I go on people lives and panels, I'm going to say it again. I don't fuck with families. I don't talk shit about wives. I leave that shit alone. It's none of my fucking business. I don't have any right to speak on any man personal life or how you bring up the children. But when you start this shit and you start it, now let me clarify when I say start it. When you get online and say, yeah, we are going to glorify somebody trying to break in his house. We're going to glorify somebody who want to terrorize his kids. Hell yeah, nigga. Guns are blazing, nigga. And I'm going to talk my shit and I'm going to back it up too. And I'm going to back it up by saying, dude, I've been in this trucking industry. I learned how to be a manufacturer. I could talk all this shit I want. You can't stop me because it's not about me. It's about the business that I made. I'm a manufacturer. I'm going to kill the game. I don't have to do shit but sit at home and click a button. And you listen to people glorifying you to go and do some shit to go in a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's our fucking problem. You want to glorify that shit, they ain't making you no money. You a fucking consumer. And you're going to consume the shit he doing. Then you're going to need an attorney. Now you in the judicial system. Now you broke. Now you need a job, nigga. And then you're going to hope that that job pays your bill. Now you need a female to get your rocks off, nigga. Now she's going to demand something from you. Now you got to be a consumer to that goddamn pewter tank. You see what you're doing all your life? You ain't nothing but a motherfucking consumer, nigga. Nothing you have, you own because you haven't made your stake on this world. But you want to glorify around dudes, but say you ain't gay. You want a dude to validate you, but you a man. You want to say, man, I stand on my own, but you need a nigga to hold your goddamn ankles. Make it make sense to me, man. Last time I checked, I was raised by my elders. You don't fuck with kids, you don't fuck with women, and you never talk on another man's personal life, meaning his family has nothing to do with none of this shit. But then you dudes get these passes when they say they put it on their set. These niggas don't even own their fucking neighborhoods. Gentrification, nigga. I hope all them people come in and rank up the motherfucking house prices. Then you get on like, man, my rent. You staying in an apartment, nigga. I bet you ain't claiming no game banging in that apartment because they'll revoke your lease. I bet you act right then, don't you? But anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox.
I still want to say thank you guys, man. Thank y'all, and thank y'all. And man, we can get to where we need to get to. It ain't gonna be overnight, and it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take some sacrifice. And one thing is absolutely going to take us teaching our own people, us teaching our young people, and some of us having to sacrifice the money and the stuff and some of the life that we want to be school teachers, to be doctors, to be nurses, to be engineers, so that we can go back. I'm not going to say go back, but we can begin moving forward with growing our own, making our own, producing our own. And I'm not talking about stuff. I'm talking about our own people. But we can have our own doctors and we can have
see,
our own all of that.
here's the thing, man. Sometimes, and listen, I had a good life growing up, and I feel I live a good life now. Some may not see that way, but I do. The problem is what you're saying. We need our engineers, our doctors, our teachers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We had all that, but we felt like
Validation.
There you go.
We need validation.
Yep.
Today,
Correct.
what I seen today and what I witnessed with my own ears, this is my own opinion. Y'all some weak motherfuckers if y'all need somebody to validate the reason why you believe who you are. And I listen to people tell fairy tales. I call it fairy tales. If you don't know if it's the truth, understand one thing. Truth is within you.
But we've got to, brother, you got to be honest. We have got to pull the wool off of some of these subjects because some of this shit is just an outright lie. Some of these religions are based on absolute
let it live in
lies.
let it.
No, we got to. That's what's
Man,
separating
my
us.
grandmother used to tell me, "Peace be still."
Okay.
As long as you teach your
That is
family,
what's separating us.
What
That's what's
religion
separating us.
is that, Black Heavyweight?
All of them, from the sanctified churches to the Baptist churches to the Hebrew Israelites to the Muslims to the Mormons. Let's just be real about it.
What is it that your people was following? Because we always follow something as a people. So what is it that you think? What is it? Let me get your opinion.
Well, it depends on how far back you go. You know, we had to worship the sun or the rain, because if it didn't rain, that's what gives life. So we didn't do it rain, so we were thankful of the rain coming. When the sun came up, we were thankful that the sun came up.
So you identify with Africans right now?
No. If you want to know what I believe is that an advanced version of ourselves created our reality that we live in, and that's why it's so fucked up. I do not believe that some highly intelligent, morally correct entity created where we are and what we're living in today. It doesn't make any sense. You can't say that they're good.
So
they
you
want us
believe
to
in
be
the
good.
Big Bang
Hell
creation?
no. No, I mean,
so what was creation story then? What's your creation belief?
I don't know. I just believe that an advanced version of ourselves created where we're at. I don't know what created something intelligent. Had to be. The sky's blue. The grass is green. The shit fits. Everything just fits.
Everything that we see is by an intelligent design. I just believe that it was just the Most High, but some people don't want to believe in that, and that's cool though. So
okay,
some
then
people think it's an
is
advanced.
good or bad? Is the
Some
Most
people
High
I,
don't
good
want to
or
believe
bad?
that because they don't want to be told what to do.
Hold on, you say it's the Most High good and bad, good or bad?
No. Is he good or bad? Because in the Old Testament, God said, He says,
He
"I am the
created
Lord
good
thy
and
God."
evil.
That's right. He says, "I create evil. I
Yeah,
love them that love me." So I'm just
yeah.
saying, God said He creates evil, so He can't be just good. Some people say God is just good.
No,
no, he
I
like
agree.
he
He
operates.
created good. Yeah,
He operates
balance.
on both sides of spirituality through his angels. Like on the right hand side, he had the angels, and then on the left side, he had the angels who do his bidding through evil. Like there's two different sides, like that he operates through both of them to have his will fulfilled.
Is the Bible true?
I believe it's true. It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Show me a
So
people.
many.
Show me a
But
people that were
but
Deuteronomy the 28th, right?
there's going to be an endless debate when it come down to the Bible, to the religion, because people are going to
Yeah.
feel what they want to feel, just
Okay.
like people are going to still do what they want to do, vote the way they want to vote. You could show them proof till you blue in the face,
Yeah.
but if they have doubt in their mind, that's it.
But I think we never followed the Bible like we should, us as a people. And I'm talking about Black Americans for the start. You know that
Man,
that is
man,
that is.
that's a, you are
Go ahead.
so you are answering when you make that statement. You are true because right now everything is evident of it. If
Hmm.
we just look around, communities, news, you see it. Of course, you are right. You stating the obvious. You're right. But you make the statement, you could preach it, right? Tomorrow morning, somebody gonna do something. People are
How
gonna
about
act the way
this?
they want to act.
How about this?
True.
Have you ever heard of the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
Hell yeah.
in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, start looking up the word man and the word Adam. And when you
Yeah.
see that word in the Strong's, you're going to see what it leads to. It's a derivative from another word, and that word means to show blood in your face. Now, if you take some time and just think about what that means, that might change your whole perspective of why the Bible was written in the first place. Because why would the real man, the man that was created, the definition of him is to show blood in his face, except it was written by a white dominator that wanted to glorify his people and subdue everybody else.
So let me ask. So you think the Bible was written by a white group of people? That's what you're saying?
That's what I believe.
Okay.
Show me
I
where,
think
let's put it, if the blacks created Egypt, let's say by some, we're the most intelligent beings on earth and we were all dumbed down. How come blacks are not reigniting themselves? Where's our God been all these years?
you know it's happening right now. People are waking up. You know, the Israelites is all around the world. Europe, Spain, Russia, Brazil. You know, they waking
Oh,
up all around the world right now by the
yeah.
thousands. So we ain't saying, and everybody ain't gonna make it. Everybody is not gonna be on the same accord. But that's, people got to
On
answer
the
to that.
cord.
You know what I'm
Okay.
Hey,
saying?
hey,
Like,
hey, hey, Black Edward. I put it like this: when I die, like I'm, I'm basing this basically like I'm gonna just put my stock
I will never die.
as a. I put it in the scriptures just in case, just to be safe. When I die, and then I see the big creator dude, I just want to be. I just want to be safe about it and just be on the Lord's side. That's all I'm gonna just say. I'm gonna leave
but
it
hold
right there.
on,
I'm gonna just try to put
Angela,
it
you
simple.
say you will never die. I mean, you
We are
gonna die.
endless. We
We
are
gods.
endless. Hold
We
on
we
now.
are
Hold
gods,
on, man.
but
You
you're
didn't
gonna
ask
die.
me why I say that, right? We are all trillions of strands of DNA. So every time I spit on the ground, I'm like, be all you can be, my son. Be a bird, be a fly, be an ant, be all that you can be. Our DNA, what makes us, lives everywhere we go. When we breathe out a part of us. And the word God, or Yahweh, YHWH, if you try to speak it, is really just the breath. The life within us would be from our Creator.
Some would
So
say it's real. Go ahead. My bad.
no. I'm just saying. Sometimes things are more simple than they appear to be. Have you ever seen the movie on YouTube? It's called The Unknown World, where it magnifies everything on our skin, on our clothing, on just everywhere, right? They're monsters. They got fangs. There's a whole other world in our body. There are billions and trillions of cells fighting over each other, changing shape. There's DNA in your
I agree
body.
with you on that.
There are microbiological organisms in your body right now that change colors and shapes to trick our cells in order to enter into them. That's intelligence.
I agree with you on that. But my thing, let me just say this real quick. I see you know a little information, some information, Heavyweight. I hear you talk about Babylon the Temple 2 book. You mentioned the Hitler as far as with what he found out. So what in your theory, what makes you think that because let me just tell you my belief real quick is that the Bible was written by a group of, I'm gonna say by my ancestors for my ancestors. You know,
And how come they can't write today?
For they people. So if you understood the Bible, you will understand that the white man couldn't have wrote the Bible because of his position in the Bible is not good. So you will understand that he couldn't have wrote the Bible because he would never have dished it out with his faith is in the Bible. His faith is in the Bible is not good.
The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter says, if you obey me, all my commandments, all of these blessings will follow you. You'll be blessed in the city, blessed in the field. The fruit of your store will be blessed. Everything will be blessed. You'll be blessed going and blessed coming in. Your children will be blessed. Show me a people that are obeying the 600 laws in the Old Testament that have those blessings following
like 609 is
Yes,
not.
sir.
You know what? That's the book. Who they're talking about? They're talking about us right now. So we was once upon a time following that, but guess what? Our people did fall off. And if you read Deuteronomy 15, what does 15 say? If you do not follow this, what was going to happen? And the children of Israel couldn't understand this at that time because we just got up out of Egypt, and it was like, you know, it was wasn't even thought about. You know what I'm saying? So that was a prophecy in Deuteronomy that was fulfilled not long ago.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, sir. Let me ask
Hold
you
on,
this, sir.
hold on. Let's switch gears for a second.
No,
Y'all
I
don't
even
mind.
want your perspective, Mr. Official Business. I want you to answer me a question just from your perspective, right?
Depends. All right.
All right, listen. Now Moses was on the mountain. Let's just say the Bible says he was on the mountain. God was making the 10 commandments for him, putting them on tablets. At the bottom of the mountain, there was the children of Israel, and there was Aaron keeping them babysitting, basically. Aaron decided to gather all their gold and all their trinkets because they were complaining, why was it taking Moses so long to come down? And he built them a calf to bow down to. He made them another god to worship while Moses was up in the mountain. Moses was so angry when he came down from the mountain and saw them all worshiping another god that he broke the first commandments that were written down and went back up into the mountain, right? My question is, when this was all done and Moses came down with those tablets and they put it in the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant, the people that were chosen to be over and in charge of the Ark of the Covenant were the descendants of Aaron. Now explain that. Aaron was the one that made the other god for them to serve. Why were those the priests? Those the ones over the tabernacle. Those were the ones watching over the Holy of Holies. Explain that to me.
It goes deeper than that. I know I get what you're saying, but honestly, we be going into studies right now because I got to pull out my book. You power phrasing right now, and you giving
No,
your
no,
interpretation
no,
on it.
no,
You know
no,
what I'm
no.
saying?
That is the scripture. No, that's what was written. It was written that the children, the Levites, the children of Aaron,
Because I say
who were
let's go to
over
it. Let's go to Exodus 20
but they
and
were over
let's
the
hear it. You know what I'm
tabernacle.
saying?
Well, you can do that, but they're still over the tabernacle. You can't unwrite the scripture. And their descendants were so bad. The sons of Eli were so bad because they were demanding. Because the ones over the tabernacle were allowed to get the meat that was offered as a sacrifice for your sins. They were allowed to consume that after the sacrifice was given. They were demanding that the sacrifice be given. The meat was given to them before the people had given their offerings to God, and God was mad at the sons of Eli. These are the children of Aaron. And I'm just saying, why did God choose the evil or the unfaithful people to be in the holy places?
Wait
And
a
the world's the
minute.
same
Wait a
today. The
minute.
kings,
Wait a minute, man. You're missing a part of that.
I am. What part am I
They
missing?
walked around the 40. They walked around the 40 years in the desert until that generation died off. That was disobedient. It says that.
No, yes, true. But the sons of Eli still, that's long after that. These are still the children, still the Levites. They're still the descendants of Aaron. The descendants of Aaron were utterly wicked.
Didn't God say that His promise would go through the children of Israel? He meant the children of Israel.
And he said to your children's children, and all whom the Lord thy God should call. No, that's New Testament. When the Old Testament, he said, your seed shall be as the stars of heaven.
And when God passed down His favor, it went through the children of Israel. It went through all of them. You can't just pick which ones you like.
Hold on. It's the priests, though. The priests are supposed to be held to at least some
The
type of
priest was wicked.
obedience. You can't say well, explain that. All I'm saying is explain that.
Exactly. That does not interfere with free will. You might want to go back a little bit to the book of Genesis. God
Why
told
would you
Adam
choose?
and Eve,
Why would a good God
do not
choose?
eat of one thing on planet Earth. And I don't know if you ever looked at it. Just take the time when you get a chance. God told Adam and Eve, don't eat of one tree on planet Earth. Not only that, this one tree was significant. This one tree was set apart, different from the rest of the trees, so they knew it.
The forbidden knowledge.
God didn't say that they couldn't throw the fruit. God didn't say that they couldn't frappe the fruit. God said not to eat.
And
you realize how easy that is? How easy of a concept that is? If I tell you not to go outside and not to eat some thorns, that's pretty easy. Don't go outside and eat some thorns, but you have free will to exercise that if you want to.
If you had
That's
children,
what freedom is. That's the freedom
and
that
you
God
had
gives.
something special, if you had children and you had a room full of money or your safe and everything, and you wanted someone to watch over your special place, would you choose the obedient children or the wicked children?
What do you mean?
I mean just that. Aaron was the one that made another god for the children of Israel to worship while Moses was in the mountain. God chose his children to be over and in charge of the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy of Holies.
I don't think God chose Aaron. I have to go.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
I have to go to the scripture.
He's not asking a question. He's not asking a question. He's making a statement in the form of a question. First of all, you can't supersede somebody else's free will. I understand what you're asking, but you and I can't supersede somebody else's free will. And just because you keep saying that they were wicked doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't choose to be wicked.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I understand where you're going with it. It's just you're trying to exegese or something.
No, I'm not, because the Bible says that the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord. You have all these wicked kings all over the earth. You were starting to talk about whether or not God is good or bad, whether he promotes good.
Wait a minute. Back up.
Does the Creator promote
God
good, or
already
does the Creator
established what the
promote?
standard is. God established the standard. And before we move forward in it, OB, is this where you trying to take this in a direction?
No,
No. All right.
The heart of the king.
Hold on,
the heart of the
Black
king
Heavyweight.
is in
Mr.
the
Black
hands of the Lord. The heart of the king.
Now, you remember what I said earlier?
If the king is wicked, hold on now. If the king is wicked, And the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and the kings are wicked. What's that tell you about God?
Dude, how are
No,
you?
hold on.
The
Well,
scripture says the
hold
heart of
on,
the
you guys.
king.
Hold on, Pimp. Black Heavyweight, Mr. Black Heavyweight.
Yeah.
See, we go down this road where what you
It's
feel, right?
written. People
It's going
want
to
to
be
ignore
subjective.
what's written, right? They want to
Wait,
ignore
well,
what's
that's what
written.
people do. People ignore speed limits. People ignore the law. People ignore people's rights. You know, this is what we actually know. People are going to ignore, and to force it on them and start this whole topic, we lose what we are trying to do, because a lot of people look in your essence. Like, if I'm going to look up to somebody, I don't care what anybody says. They can say, Black, before I met you online, to hear what people say in the comment section, and if I didn't have a mind for myself, I'd be like, that dude is a bad dude. That dude is this. But when I heard you, I went on your channel, subscribed to your channel, listened to your video. I'm like, no, this brother dropping facts. I like this brother. I like how you think. You don't agree. You're not a one-side person. You're not just going to say something to get along with everybody.
Mm.
So what you are saying and what this other gentleman is saying is going to become a battle. And y'all both are going to win, but nobody's going to learn shit.
That's true. You just can't tell me God is good. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Thoughts and
God damn it.
prayers.
Go ahead, brother. Brother, go ahead and say your reply, brother.
No,
Say your
I'm just
reply.
saying.
Say your
Hey,
reply,
I'm just
brother.
saying,
Say your
man.
reply,
disagree.
brother.
What you
I hear
talking
what you're
about,
saying,
Black
bro. That's all
Heavyweight?
I can say, man. I hear what you're saying.
It's a debatable topic. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's gonna take some time. You know, it's not no going in it for 5 minutes. You know
No,
what
no.
I'm saying?
This
It's not
this
no
is a
5 minute
full.
topic.
This is a full week running out your 70-hour clock.
Yeah,
All that,
because there,
and we only had the second book.
and
That's
there's a
right,
scripture.
Theo.
There is a precept that even talks about how Jesus said there's only one that is good, and that is, I think, the Father. I'm just like paraphrasing,
There was
so
no Jesus.
I can't say that I can't say that God is evil. And on that Jesus part, I don't recognize him as Jesus. I recognize him by a different name. But if you're not
Yeah.
part of that practice, then it really wouldn't, it shouldn't matter to you though. I know him by
But
Yahweh Shai.
yeah,
But
here's
hold on,
here's the
Theo.
go
Hold
ahead.
on. I want to do a break. I want you guys, the people that's tuning in, the people, please share. I know y'all ain't going to like it, but like to listen to how these brothers, every grown man on this panel, the way we speak, the way we respect one another. This is called unity. You don't need no guy, and I'm saying from only me. I don't. These men didn't need anybody to stand up on a fucking crate to tell them what to think.
Mhm.
But go ahead, gentlemen.
All
Well,
right.
well, my thing is, I always ask people this question. I said it earlier. Okay, you've got different beliefs and different religions and different thoughts process. But at the end of the day, where do you want your spirit or your soul to be rendered?
To the source.
To the source. Okay. So your source would be the most high.
Yeah.
Okay. Black Heavyweight, what will be your source?
Um, that's an interesting question. I
Okay,
want to continue to live.
I'm gonna move to Tribe. I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
Tribe, then I'm coming back to Black Heavyweight. Tribe, you there?
Say it again. What you say?
I
Say it again.
I said we
I
all
got
have
it.
different religions, thought process, and beliefs, right? And
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, where are we trying to go with our spirituality and our soul once it leaves our body? Because we are spiritual people. So once we are now into the spiritual world, where do we want our spirit to end up?
I
I.e.,
mean,
do we want to go ahead?
mine is gonna be to the higher power. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying? Because
the
I
most high.
believe the spirit. Yeah, I believe the spirit gonna leave the body and it's going somewhere. You know?
Yeah, and I always say we're spiritual people because we can really talk to somebody and their attitude, we're going to say their charisma is their spirit. It can make or break us that day. We can say, you know what, that's it. I'm willing to kill somebody based on that person's charisma, or that person's charisma, which is their spirit, once again, can put us into a new light and say, you know what, I have to step up my game here. I have to start living my life that way. You got me? So with all the debates of what religion is the best, all this from top to 10 down to bottom, it doesn't matter to me. I just always ask people, where do you want that spirit to be when judgment day comes?
Judgment. Now you throw in Judgment Day. You threw that into the equation.
No, we don't have to go down that road.
If
We
you,
don't. We
if
don't.
you,
We
if you
don't
Nah.
have to go down.
hadn't, if you hadn't
You know,
thrown that in there, I was going to say I'd like to live through those who come after me, to give them wisdom as a child.
so you talking about reincarnation?
Oh, most
No, he
certainly,
want to
most
be
certainly.
like in the Bible and live 800 years.
I don't
No,
want to
let me
live
tell you a
that.
story. Let me tell
Not
you a
on this earth.
story. Let me tell you a true story, right? My grandmother told us that one day her and her sisters were out on a wagon, one of those wagons, just out and about, right? And one of their dead aunts appeared to them in broad daylight during the day and just waved at them and smiled, and then just went up into space. And the
I mean,
whole family, the whole sister, we're talking about things that happened. We're talking, I don't know, 70 years ago. I don't know how long ago that was. It was a long time ago. My mom's 70, so it might be 80 years ago, 90 years ago. I don't know, a long time. But I'm saying there's stories we wouldn't even believe today.
no, that's quite believable. You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't have any
I
family
have a story
stories?
that, yeah, I got a story like that. It's, you know, it's similar, but with my wife, with what she's saying, you know, out of body experience, and her body was going, you know, she was asleep, and she woke up, and her body, she looked down, she was in an out of body experience, and it was a bright light, and she felt like it was the Most High that was talking to her, and she was like, it's beautiful of her. Still, while her body is, you know, she could see her body down, laying down, and she was like, I don't want to leave, man, you know, and he was telling her it ain't your time, and she said why, and she was gradually. Matter of fact, she said her mother called her name and opened up the door, looked in, seen she was asleep, closed the door, and by that time she going back in her body, and you know what I'm saying, and fully was aware what was going on. She didn't see nobody. She said when she tried to turn her head, it was just a bright light, but she could hear a voice. So it was an out of body experience that, you know, that was her
Correct.
testimony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but let me ask y'all this, man.
Go ahead.
With all the knowledge that you gentlemen, everybody, even Mr. Black, Mr. Black Heavyweight, Theo, Tribe, Mr. 3000. Now, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate right now. You gentlemen are very intelligent. Nothing but respect to y'all. Now, why can't we apply this same energy and belief and keep in our number dealing with brokers as truck drivers and business owners? Because what I see right now are fathers. From the way I hear you guys speak, you guys are great parents or grandfathers. I don't know. I'm not, but I could tell that you guys are educators. You guys are producing kids that's going to be better than what, you had, but you're going to make sure they're smarter. But when it comes down to somebody on the phone, how do we lose this? Like, I'm listening to you guys, and I'm not joking. I'm not making fun, but you guys are some great parents. But how do we lose this when we dealing with bidding on lows?
We're not sharing our stories for one, and our experiences for another. Because I didn't even know till I was like my mid-30s that there even was such a thing as an Azusa revival. That was like a real event. People were raised from the dead. Miracles were happening. There's things that have really happened in real life. Your journey, Theo's journey. Theo was a mechanic. Sure, he's got a long journey. I came from homelessness and God knows what else. I have a long freaking. You, official bit, Daryl, you went from seemingly rags to riches.
Yes, I
Well,
did.
well, well,
But
to answer,
I shared it with I did, but it cost me, and it
yeah,
cost me things that I don't want to share, things that I'll say openly. I'm
yeah.
not that
You
great with people. I'm not that
you
great with people.
you
People
don't
might
have to get
think
too
that.
personal with it.
Yeah, okay. When it
Yeah,
comes down to people, I look for the greatness because if we don't retain that, if we don't know who we are, we'll let anybody tell us what we need to be. So when I look at gentlemen, but go ahead, Theo. What you about to say?
I want to answer your question. I think the answer to your question is we still don't know our worth or our value. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know our value, and I think it correlates into our business sometimes. You know, this is a time in trucking where we have to get real strategic. You know, we have to demand more, and I think we bitten into the apple of saying, well, this is as sweet as it's gonna get. I'm just gonna eat this apple. I think that's the analogy of where we're at when we're talking about dealing with some of these brokers and we're taking rates, not some not all, that are just too low for the market, and we're hurting our other brethren who are in trucking because we're putting a market that was at a higher rate and we're taking it so low that now that's the standard bearer. So I go back to what I said before. I think we don't recognize our worth as much as we should do.
Do you really think? Because I've been hearing y'all say that lately. I just haven't popped in on these live, but do y'all really think that it is the owner operators and the lease drivers that are bringing the rates down?
Yes,
When
sir.
you got these big companies that have teams running for 13, I don't know what they're paying them now. 30 cents a mile. What are they paying the
They are,
teams now?
but they are already Mr. Black Heavyweight. They're
I'm gonna
already
piggy.
locked in. They're already locked into a contractor rate to keep people from getting that contract. But they have not. Nobody could lock down the open market rate. The open market rate is truly controlled by the most smallest minute business. The person that has the least has the biggest voice. The person that has the most has the smallest voice because the market is there in design for the big person to make the most. So if I
I've
want to
never
train,
worked. I've never worked for a company, no matter how large, whether it's Prime or
I might
Hirschbach
say that
or this,
incorrectly. So
but I've never worked for a company that didn't get loads from a broker or load board time to time.
no,
Never.
all right. So the low board is nothing back, but most companies build up network and they understand what areas and know how to have consistency with cash flow and on logistics for their company drivers. Because, like, say, let's say I want to hire Mr. Black Heavyweight. I hear guys all the time say, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a driver." And the question is, well, my response is, the good drivers already took it. Companies already went out there and invested time, effort, and capital to retain customers to have something consistent, high volume, and that they know there's non-driver touch. Where a carrier that opens up one truck operation, want to put a
Mm,
driver in the seat that has to
hmm
bid off the low board. And then what if I have to go to Mr. Black Heavyweight and say, hey man, you got to unload this stop?
Oh hell no.
Okay, then,
No,
so
no,
I
no,
lose you.
no.
I lose you. And then
Yeah.
big corporation comes in. Now they're coming in. People are saying, hey man, they pulling stuff for 19 cents a mile, but they locked this contract in over 3 years ago. They doing
Mm,
this 19 cents a
And
mile.
let me ask you something, OB, real quick.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna speak on the operator. 'Cause I'm a company driver that's in a specialized freight, liquid nitrogen. But where do you stop at for your food, like on a regular basis?
For
I'm
your
sorry.
what? For your what?
Where do you, for your meat? Where do you shop at? Like grocery store wise?
For my meat, I deal with
Yeah.
a butcher. I deal with a butcher.
Walmart. Well, yeah, but you're not on the road though right now,
Okay.
right?
Let's
So
say
Yeah.
let's say Walmart for your home. You know,
Okay then.
you say you deal with a local butcher or
Yes,
whatever.
sir. Local butcher. A local butcher.
Why not raise your own animals and train other people who have animals? You know what I'm
who gonna
saying?
raise
That'd
them?
be way cheaper.
That
You're
I
right.
do. So I don't know if this is like dead point or but here we go.
No,
We
he's right.
do we do raise animals on property in another state, but it's just not feasible for me. It doesn't make sense for me to take it to go and travel and get the live animals or get the meat from another state. So I sit here, I look for small business. I look for mom and pops and I invest in them.
Hmm.
I create a relationship. I understand their operation. And if I could provide a service for them, like say Mr. Black Heavyweight, we've been friends for 10 years. He owns 5 reefer units. So I'm gonna talk to that customer because I'm invest in it, basically buying a lot of their volume. And then I would like to introduce Mr. Black Heavyweight to that customer. And Mr. Black Heavyweight can help him with his logistics need. I'm not going to drop my price on, or I do not want him to drop his price on what he's selling me the beef for. I want us all to come up and sit at the table and have a good laughter, have some champagne, and enjoy this man beef. Where Mr. Black Heavyweight got his money, his company is scaling up. I think differently. I think about a community. In the community, I want people in my community are the people that are not going to cause harm to anybody because everybody's making it. But I'm very selective. I'm prejudiced.
But he's thinking like I used to think, right? Why don't we all raise our own cattle? Basically, is what he's saying.
Well,
And he's
you can
right. He's
raise your
right about
own
that. Yeah.
cattle. You can
Yeah.
raise your own cattle, but you're still going to need the land. And
I
that,
didn't. I was just saying in theory, like sometimes, like I was paraphrasing off of the being a owner operator that's taking lower freight. You know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
no, you don't. That's the thing you have to step back from. You don't have to do what you have to do. You have to figure out what you like. And I'm going to say what I've been saying in the past. You have to be selfish for a point in time in your life. It's
Yeah,
all
but
about you.
Daryl, you're not. You know what? You had a decision the other day. You had a live, right?
Yeah.
And you know how to talk to these brokers. And maybe sometimes you should do a little bit more schooling on how you break them down to get a little bit more without
You know,
offending them, how to get more money or a higher
well,
rate.
I'm afraid, Mr. Black Heavyweight. I did.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Because when I do it, and I have done it in the past, people use that. Some YouTubers, some big name YouTubers, the ones that were posing with Joe Biden. We have done YouTube Live where they invite me to their platform and I spoke to them. I done pictures with them. They would take that, then charge our own kind $10,000. And I used to get on, I was not familiar with YouTube, how to, do all this shit. But I get on Facebook and be like, hey, man, they did charge you $10,000 on something I literally told them about. And they'll still have the video up. So that made me pull back. And I came into a mode of, you know what? If I'm going to talk to my people, I'm going to give y'all the things that you really need. One thing you really need is confidence. You gotta
They
believe
need to
it.
know the damn tricks like you were talking the other day.
Man, here go the freight prices.
I got to get on you too because you did this the other day. You about to give the nuggets, and these young people need it. I'm old; it's too late. But these young cats, bro, if you don't give it out, how they gonna get it?
If I give it out right now, right? How many people are going to receive it and not say about their emotions, talk about their emotions? I can tell you right now. Okay, then, you want to increase your prices and freight? Have a conversation. Number 2, change your company name. If anything dealing with a culture, color of skin, demographic, you're not going to get it
Yep.
because you got to look neutral. When a company does business with another company, they want to look neutral across the board. Now, they
Yep.
might not be neutral in their business decisions or their business practice, but you don't want to be on Fox 4 News. Fox 4 News, Target does more business with out the trap and trucking. Then you got a woman trucking group over here talking about why don't they do business? Dude, it's bad publicity. It's going to fuck up your sales.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah.
All right, number
Poor
3.
field nigga trucking.
Yeah, don't do that shit. Number 3. If you're going to run an operation, understand when you have a conversation with anybody that has power or authority in that company, don't have traffic noise in the background. Learn how to pull over the truck in a safe area and conduct conversation. Converse. Number 5, your email address needs to have your MC number, phone number, point of contact, and name of point of contact. And last but not least, never ask the customer, can you pay the same day, the same week? Talk about terms of payment. There you go. And don't mention your factoring company name. If you mention a factoring company name, that means you have no capital reserve. No capital reserve mean I could tell you any fucking rate because you're desperate. Capital reserve means that you have value. That means that you know how to work your finances. You're responsible. There you go. Here go the game. I just dropped it on you. What you gonna do with it?
Well, I'm gonna have a Coke and a smile. I'm too old, but the young ones can handle it.
My
And
time
Black
stamp it.
Heavyweight.
Put that in the
Yeah.
notepad.
Yeah.
Black Heavyweight. If you go back,
Yes.
I think it was either yesterday or maybe the day before that. He gave out quite a few nuggets of information about trucking, and then
I
he
heard
did
it.
one of the most smartest and intelligent things that we all can do. Hey, I'll get together with you outside of the live and the internet. That way he can carry on just like a business. And if anybody wants to go further, they can go further. That way, anything that could be proprietary, personal, or something that he don't want to give out, he can give out directly to the individual themselves. And I'm pretty sure OB would do stuff like that for
Yes.
or if he chooses to, someone that he's comfortable with and he knows that isn't going to take advantage of.
Okay.
Yes, that
All right.
Mr. 3000. Yes, brother. I need to sign you up as a manager. But yes,
No,
what
don't
I've
hire
done.
him as your new goddamn manager.
Well,
He just
okay.
used the word I never heard of propriety. What the fuck does propriety mean?
All right. So when you're
Hold on.
dealing in business, proprietary means that it's certain things that I actually do. Like
Yeah.
for instance, I've already been on lives and discussed infrastructure. I've already sat down, had lunch, dinner with multimillionaires that own bigger infrastructure than I do with trucking carriers. We had one of the biggest thing was Quincy Roberts, multimillionaire, the king of Dallas, basically of construction. Black. He's black, family owned. His grandmother started the business back in 1964. They are still in business today with the same MC number. We was giving free classes, and people said, "Oh man, it's free because you ain't gonna learn nothing." And people went and paid $10,000, they don't learn shit. Then they talk about networking. But when people start talking about networking, I start talking about capital. Because you got to understand, you got to have some money behind your name. You going out there saying you a hard worker doesn't mean shit to an insurance company or to the federal government. The federal government wants to be insured for the money that they're promising you. These are facts. This is not no highlighting. This is not gloating. The government, before the government will give you $1, they want to know if you should fall sick, die, or get ill, can you guarantee their dollar back? These are facts. SBA been around for the longest. Small Business Administration. That's how foreigners with gas stations, lawn service. Why you think lawn service? And I'm not talking to you, Mr. Black Heavyweight. Just pinpoint on you. Just generally. Why do people think that they're seeing more lawn services being developed and established now more rapidly than carrier services? Because they're building more houses. That is over a $10 billion market. Over 10 billion, more than trucking. Look at the things that's in front of you. This is what I deal with. When I sit on these lives and joke around, I'm just relieving fucking stress. When I get off these lives, I'm back to business. That's it. What are we going to do today? What new avenue we are going to take? What else are we going to negotiate? What other service I'm going to establish? Because I'm not going to sit here and say, I hope somebody do something for me. When most of these motherfuckers are lazy. They want somebody to deliver their groceries. They want somebody to cut their grass. They want somebody to walk out there and give them a quote for their sidewalk. They want somebody to pick up their cat litter. So I'm going to establish myself. If you're not a manufacturer of a service or a good, only thing you are then is a consumer. That means that you're going to be giving the money. I'm the guy to think about making the money. So that's why I don't get in, when it come down to hurting people or telling people stuff. Man, I'm like, dude, you doing all that shit for free, nigga. If you're going to be a private investigator, get signed up with the state or the goddamn Homeland Security. Other than that, you doing that for YouTube? For free? Oh, you a consumer because you had to pay for that service. You had to pay somebody for somebody to tell you about that person. Fuck that. When you going to get tired of being a damn consumer and become a manufacturer?
Produce.
But it ain't set up for everybody to be a manufacturer.
Well, then that's where you win. You don't look down at that. You don't say, oh man, well, everybody. That's because you're a boss and everybody needs a leader. Why don't you become that leader and let them work for you and you teach them? Other than saying, I'm not going to be a leader because nobody else want to be a leader.
OB,
Yes, sir.
I just want to throw one more thing out there, and I'm gonna jump off. Guys, we are truck drivers. We have plenty of time. All of you guys have been going down the road, or at least some of you guys have been driving down the road, and you done came up with an idea for something of some kind. Get you a shop and start making something. Then your proprietary idea that you've created something, you can copyright that, trademark that, and you can go sell that. You can manufacture that. Then next thing you know, we'll see you on Shark Tank talking about the number of units that you sold. We can do it. You can do it. Just put a little bit of time into it.
That is facts. No matter how many mistakes you make, the more mistakes you make, the more perfect you are becoming.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So, the JP 3000 drop off? Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you guys something. If official always says, in so many ways, do for yourself. Don't ask others to do what you can do. If you can be a manufacturer, be a manufacturer, but take control of your own destiny. Now, with that being said, do you think the problem in trucking is we've become too comfortable, and instead of us directing traffic, we're allowing others to direct traffic for us? And that's a question for anybody who wants to answer, whether you're a company driver, lease owner, it doesn't matter to me.
I think it's a lot of foreigners, that's that's in the country that could do things for way cheaper. I think it's a lot that's driving down the rates. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
then let's say the rates are up. When the rates are up, that means the cost of living is up too. You know,
Okay.
grocery stores, from the lumber building houses,
Hmm.
everything goes up. You know what I'm saying? When freight is when
Okay.
they
Well,
pay
well, let
more
me
money
let
to
me
move
let,
that
let me
freight.
let me add on to what you're saying, and I'm gonna make it in a question form. So everything is going up, but the rates, but also everything is going up. So do you think that's limiting spending power? Is
Wait,
why we're not seeing as much freight as we were 8 months ago.
I
I
can't really
think
speak on that.
I think
hold on, Mr. Tribe.
Yeah.
The prices, what we are seeing as truckers, right? I'm just only speaking to you. I'm not, directing this in any funny form. But if you guys go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's, the building material prices is dropping like nobody business. It is dropping is just as rapid as our rates. It is dropping. Like, do you go into a Home Depot and you are seeing prices in the sub 200s? You're seeing lumber at $9.67.
Are you talking about like within the last 5 months?
No, sir. No, sir. Last 2 weeks, sir. Last two weeks.
Okay, I knew it had to be. I knew it had to be because I'm like,
Recently. Very recently.
right. I got you. Uh,
what you
You
say
guys
that
are
So
making it.
so what
What you about to say,
so
brother?
what is it? So what you think is? So that means okay, prices are dropping. Let's say on lumber. So what do you think that got to do with the freight?
Now,
With the
me
prices of
personally,
freight right
surplus?
now.
no, not the surplus. I think now that everybody's coming off their fucking high, you have to realize that we can't stay at this point. Credit cards, and I'm gonna go back to the credit cards because majority of people live off credit cards. Credit card rates are unsustainable. These banks ain't gonna collect on 28%.
Hmm.
These like Home Depots, these mega stores, they're not able to sell the products because people are not buying it. We are truck drivers, yes, that's our job. But at the end of the day, we are people. We are consumers. We are not going out there buying no damn steak for no $100. We are not
Hmm.
going to the Targets and willing to spend $300 for only 10 items.
Hmm.
Now, us being consumers and truck drivers, these stores, these mega stores, are saying that they're not going to take it. We had a good time while we ride the ride,
Hmm.
but nobody can afford this shit. Let's just be real. I don't care if
Hmm.
you do got $1 million. Do you want to spend $1,000 for a fucking steak that only costs you $100?
Hmm.
Nah, it'll be fruitful
There you go. So people are backing up.
because the squeeze is on, man. That damn inflation on, like it's a
Yes, sir. Yes, the squeeze.
don't
Everybody
need
getting
it.
squeezed.
All the
Even
necessities. I'm only going for the necessities right now. For me, it's food.
man, dude.
Like
You look
I'm
at it.
only getting all the necessities.
I ain't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, brother. But I would say this: if you look at the teenagers, right, the ones first time going to college, one that's graduating, they're learning how to live their life by the basic means. And a lot of these big consumer markets, advertising, they was aiming towards the younger age. Hey, get a credit card. Hey, get this, get this. And people are realizing this younger generation, like, no, no. So today I spent $100, but tomorrow I owe you 500, or not even 100, 500. That's just over exaggerated. I owe you $185. People are not doing it. They going back to their parents. Hey, mom and dad, do this sound like a good deal? No.
So do you think now the younger generation is getting into more of a financial literacy society?
Yes, especially with housing.
Mhm.
Yes, because housing, the amount of money they have to spend on a monthly basis for rent. The younger generation are waking up like, hold on, our rent is $3,000. I only generate $4,200 a month. Let me
Yeah.
watch them spend it.
And we
Come on,
we talk when you talking about the younger generation, are you referring to like us, like me, like I'm 32, right? Or are you talking about like a little bit younger, like
a little bit
20?
younger.
I would say between the ages of 23 and 30. This is when majority of people get trapped in debt between the age of 23 and 30, right? Because you're working, you're just having a chance to finally get a credit card, you're on your own, you got a car, it started out good, but now you're looking at everything is going up over 50%. You can't sustain. Most people that are between 30 and 40, they're just now figuring out the schematics of, hold on, let me rethink this thing, right? But it's that 23 to 30 age that really drives the economy, right? Younger people spend more because they don't have a thought process of saving. So you're just gonna spend all your money, right? Like some black people, we just spend every damn we get. We spend. We don't think of saving. Where now these people are seeing, hold up, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need to buy a house right now. I'm not gonna give up my car because who are new cars geared towards? The younger crowd, right? They're not geared towards a 49-year-old man such as myself. I may keep my car for 10, 12 years. I
Yeah.
don't need a new car.
Well, you got to explain, Theo. Why would you keep your car for 10 to 12 years versus a younger person that's new, that's getting induced into the car buying market?
Well, simple. If I knew I struggled to pay it off, I'm not going into another loan.
Mm.
I'm going to ride it out and say, you know what? The money that I took, and I'm just going to throw a number. The money I took to pay off this $30,000 car at an interest rate of 12.5%, what was $30,000 over 5 years cost me 48. You know what? I'm going to take that same money and I'm going to put it in my bank. I'm going to take that same money. I'm going to tell my job, increase my what I'm putting into my 401k. If I have a Roth IRA, I'm going to
Yeah.
put that money into it. Because
It-
now I
it-
realize my power ain't in the car.
there
Yep.
you
The
go.
car has no value.
And it's a shame that I just had to find out about Roth IRAs and the 401ks. Like I'm just now
Mhm.
getting into all that, trying to prepare for my retirement.
No. Don't feel bad about that, brother. You're, my granddaddy used to always tell me, you get bought sense or paid sense. And when you get paid sense, it's like going to a university. You graduated. You know the
Yeah.
foolishness. So when somebody step to you like, yo, man, I'm about to buy this pickup truck, cost me $98,000. You just look at them and say, all right, man, congratulations. But in your mind, you saying, man, I would never sign a deal, $98,000. I'm 42 years old for 7 years. You be 52. So you're going to have some bumps in the road. 52 years old before you pay off a damn pickup truck.
Yeah.
When you could took $92,000 or $98,000 and invest in yourself, meaning in your savings. See, a lot of people are disciplined when it comes down to paying their loans back, but they're not disciplined in paying off their energy. Ain't it, dude? You've been out here working. You got to put something back to the side, baby.
Uh-huh.
You look good when you feel good. But
Mhm.
think about that. You
But
look
but but
good
but
when
but
you feel good.
but see, some people want to look like new money, but they broke. That's the mentality we have to break.
Yeah.
Walking out the house looking like new money, but you don't own anything, right? I.e., you don't own whether it's your personal car, or your fucking lawnmower. You don't own anything, but you look good. It's a mentality. If we can break in our community, and listen, I was that way a long time ago. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the same
Yeah.
way. You know, I spent damn near $1,500 on a Nietzsche suit back in 2000. Man, you couldn't tell me I wasn't sharp. Dumbest mistake I ever made in my life. Dumbest mistake. And I had a pair of tan Durangos to match them bitches. Dumbest thing I've ever did. That's why I keep the suit and look at it every day when I'm home and say, don't do nothing stupid like that again. You know what I could have did with that $1,500 at that age? And where that $1,500 would have me at right now from a financial standpoint? I could pull money out of that. $1,500. Waste of money. So that's the mindset we have to change. Even that when we look at trucking, we have to change that mindset. You know, how much is this truck going to cost us? How much debt is this truck going to get? How much revenue is this truck going to bring? Trucking changes. There's revenue, there's ups and downs. Are we going to be able to sustain a $2,800 payment, monthly payment one time with the rates the way they are? Now you're forced where you can't take off for work. You got to work every goddamn day.
That's what I was going to get to. How do you with rates as low as they are, and y'all saying, okay, don't take cheap freight. It's hard to tell somebody that who got bills, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, here's what I'm
Bills
saying.
already. So what you said, you know,
You got to know
like Pope
yourself.
said, park the truck.
Yeah.
No. We ain't gonna say park the truck. I would tell you this: you got to know your number.
You can know your
That
number,
right now,
but
right
shit,
now.
that don't mean you're gonna get to nothing. That don't mean that.
Well, here go the thing: you put yourself in that boat. We're gonna have to make a sacrifice. You got to understand your sacrifice. Do you plan it out to be temporary or long? You want to keep it temporarily because you know whatever you could trim the fat at, you could trim the fat. If you could refinance. If you got to stop spending, stop the fucking spending. Nobody can
Correct.
answer that question but you. But people could give you a guide. Here goes the guide. Okay, cheap freight. Fuck what everybody else say. What do you need to sustain? Now, what can you sacrifice in your personal life in order for you to keep what you have? You got XM radio in your vehicles? Turn that shit off.
Shit, never. Hell no. Hell,
Well, Mr. Black Heavyweight.
hell no, man. No, I gotta have MSNBC, CNN, Fox. I gotta have Urban View, which you don't know nothing about apparently. You ain't on the Sirius XM. Urban View is round the clock African American subject matter. That's all they talk about. Ain't no music, no bullshit, just African American issues. That's all they do, all day and all night.
Well,
So,
let me
yeah.
say this now. They do. Well, they talk about everything, but it's from the black perspective, right? Not just African issues. But I get what Black Heavyweight was saying. But to Tribe, I would say this. If you're owning a truck and you're making your money and the rates are getting screwed up, you don't have to stay in that part of trucking. You know, there's different aspects of trucking. So it becomes, do I diversify myself to put my truck where my truck's going to make money?
Bingo.
You got me? That's the attitude we have to take. I'm a dry van guy. Everybody knows dry van is saturated. So I got to get creative. I got to look at everything you guys won't do. Black Heavyweight ain't getting inside the trailer pulling a pallet. Well, where the
I'm
damn
not
pallet
doing
jack?
no 9 stops. I'm not doing 9 stops.
I get,
none of the above.
see, here's the
Tailgating.
thing though. But here's the thing though. In order for me to sustain what I want in the market, where I have to get creative, i.e., if I have to do 9 stops, I have to do it. I.e., if I have to put a set of doubles behind that truck, I'm putting a set of doubles. If there is a wastewater tanker that needs to be moved, I'm moving that wastewater tanker with the wastewater in it. You got me? I'm not afraid to put my truck where it's gonna make money because I have to be responsible for me.
Oh,
My
you're 100%
emotions,
right.
you see,
You're
my
right.
emotions mean shit to me when it comes to my money.
Mm.
Hell, I can buy emotions if I got money.
Since I know this is like kind of like a down market, right? Had I still had my truck based off of that situation that happened with my stuff, I would have still parked my truck and went 1099 as I'm doing now, and then just use that money. See what I'm doing now. I'm saving my money up, but I'm also splitting my money up, trying to put it into other places like the stock market and all that. I'm trying to reap dividends. I'm trying to prepare for like
Yeah.
retirement,
Oh, you
all types of
diversifying.
stuff.
You
Yeah, I'm like
diversifying. Salute to you,
diversify.
brother.
Yeah, diversifying the
Well,
portfolio. And I'm
well,
using
Mr.
the company's money instead of using my. If I had a truck, I wouldn't be using it. I wouldn't use my truck. I'm using their truck to like build up my retirement.
Correct, correct. Well, I would say this, Mr. Black. If you're thinking about buying stocks, you better do it now, because
Yeah,
the
cause
market keeps dropping and they're having a sell-off frenzy. The
yeah,
last 2 days they've been selling off like crazy, right?
and I'm
So, hmm
you're right about that, because like technically we going from stagflation to a recession. Usually the people who make the most money is when they buy in the recession times and all that. And I think
correct.
we're about to go into it. So I'm watching out. I already got money put up because I'm looking at a few stocks right now.
Wow.
I'm just waiting till we hit it. I got like a price alert. I'm waiting for that price to go down so I can come in and just swoop it up. Because right now is the time to buy.
Correct, correct. And you're going to see another drop before the year is out. One, interest
Yeah.
rates, they're raising them up again. The stock market is tricky. The Dow is tricky. But if that's
Uh,
something you're looking at getting into, I would tell anybody, look at the
it's a
market.
beast.
It keeps dropping. It keeps dropping, and they're selling shit off like crazy.
Yeah, they're waiting though. 'Cause I got some kinfolks in that. They're waiting when it drops to a certain point, then they're gonna rise it back up, and then
Yeah.
they're gonna sell again. Then they're gonna sell again. They're gonna make money in groups like that. Group selling.
Correct, correct. So, I mean, and listen, I don't knock any man that's preparing for his future. Because there's going to come a time when we can't drive trucks. Now, what do? You know what I mean?
Mm.
We've got to think about that,
Yep.
you know. But at this point, the rates are the rates. We can fight to get more, but if you can't get what you want, look for different avenues. Where am I going to put this truck to make some money? You know, is it best that I park the truck? I'm not telling nobody to do it, but if that's what you want to do, by all means, do what you feel is in your best interest. But we have to be willing to diversify our business. No business stays in business without diversifying. If you
Yep.
think I'm wrong, you know, in 1985, J.B. Hunt said they told their drivers, my best friend drove for him, hey, man, we're not going to be running coast to coast too much longer. It's going to be on the rail. Well, who's one of the biggest intermodals out there running rail? J.B. Hunt. They got final mile. They got brokerage, you know, moving services, where they diversify their company. So why wouldn't you take the same, not you in general, why wouldn't anybody take the same business approach when we're in this kind of market? There's money out here. We just got to be willing to put ourselves in the position to make the money.
Yeah, because whether people like it or not, the economy is jumping, man. Freight is out here. I hear everybody crying, but the freight is out here. So,
And I definitely, if I were you, like, if you in this country, I would not quit your job right now. Right now, like these next 2 years, you want to make sure you stacking up and working. You don't want to like fall back behind to whatever that's about to happen in this country. Whether we about to go into a deeper recession or not, I would just be working. Don't get too comfortable.
Man, quit your
2024.
job, man. Everybody fucking
2024,
hiring
man.
right now. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's damn near people shortage on, you know, getting the job, you know, bringing them in to get the job.
There's hella jobs right now. It's gonna come to a point where them it ain't gonna be a lot of availability, and then they're gonna wish they had took that spot. 'Cause
I mean, fuck, they paying $17 an hour at Jack in the Box. Fast food, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what?
Man,
I'm like,
y'all
what the
notice it?
fuck? 19 for manager. I'm like, whoa.
Man, you don't see them prices no more, man. We getting close to the holiday. Price about to drop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Every-
yeah.
A lot of people thought they was too good for the position. Here
And
go the
election
thing.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the elections. This year election is gonna be,
Oh man. Ain't
dude.
nothing gonna stop me from going. I got to vote.
You better vote, and then
pivotal time.
yeah, Yeah.
Well, that's the key word, vote. Y'all know me. I don't care who you vote for, but just get involved.
There you
You
go.
know,
Now I like that Theo. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I
right.
got my registration.
we got to get involved and do not register as a independent. Don't do it.
That's true too. That's
You
true too. Yeah,
cannot
don't do
vote
that.
in
Yeah.
all elections being an independent.
That's right.
And I get guys'
Mhm.
perception, but you actually hurt yourself. The presidential election, you're voting for who's going to run the United Corporations of America. Your local, from dog catcher to governor, is who impacts you the most.
Hold
That's
on,
right.
hold on, Theo. You guys hit that like button. It won't even cost you a dime. Hit that like button, man. If you don't,
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden.
Oh
You
no,
oh
man.
well hell, I know I ain't
I'm
president
just
now.
joking.
I
I'm
want
just
you to
joking now.
no,
I'm just
I want you
joking.
to vote for Joe Biden. No, I need you to vote for Joe. I'll be
Why?
damned if I'm gonna press the like button now. Just get ready to press the like
Well,
button.
you got to remember, Black
Shit.
Heavyweight, you got to remember now, my man, official business is a Dixiecrat.
Yeah,
He's
but
not a
man,
Republican. He's a
yeah, but
Dixiecrat.
right now the way these Republicans are talking, they want to sunset Social Security. They want to sunset Medicare. I'm getting old. You're gonna get old too, official business.
Hey, hold on, Mister Black Heavyweight.
Uh,
Dude, I've been paying attention to that, man. It
okay.
kind of got me scared,
It got me a little
dude.
nervous about that shit they do.
Hell yeah.
They're already are passing laws saying that abortion in some areas is considered murder.
Well, I don't want. I'm
Murder.
well. I'm just going to speak on my thing right here, man. When they start talking about the Social Security, and majority of the guys. So what YouTube tells me is this: majority of the people that tunes into this live is between the age of 35 to 48. That means that we all about to retire here soon. Dude, you better get involved, bro. Brothers and sisters, get involved.
No doubt. And don't depend that Social Security is going to be there. Have an alternate source. Um, whether we like it or not, yeah, they just gave Social Security a raise. That's good. But the reality is there's always somebody in the bushes fighting to get rid of it. So we got to prepare and say, you know what? If I get it, but I'm going to continue to pay into it. But also put yourself in a situation when you got more than just Social Security coming in. You know, if you was living off of $2,100 a month with the prices that went up in the last 6 months, you damn near destitute. You really have no money. You get what I'm saying? So we got to look past Social Security from an individual perspective and try to invest in our future in other ways. And I get it, Heavyweight, you're closer to the age of getting ready to retire, and hopefully it's there for you. But for those that aren't, you know, we got to start determining our own financial future because there is life after trucking, and it's called you ain't gonna be working in trucking no more. That's what we need to be focused on. At my age, that's what I'm focused on. Life out the trucking. I don't have that many years left in trucking. 15 max. If God can bless it to me. 15 max. But I got to figure out what's after them 15 years.
That's a good chunk of time, man. I was thinking I only got like 10 or 15, like, cause I'm 32.
Now, man, I'm at 15 years. I'm going on. I get done with trucking at 20. I was talking to Theo. Theo like, no,
Yeah.
no, Fisher, you ain't gonna be done. I'm like, dude, man, I'm gonna get out this bitch at 20, man. I've done everything I wanted to do. I fucked up, came back, made it happen, talked to the government, fucked up again, say fuck the government. And now it's like, dude, on the other side, once you guys go through the experience of dealing with brokers, dealing with carriers, dealing with an insurance company, dealing with loss runs, dealing with factoring companies, dealing with all of these other entities, you find happiness knowing that you're fucking smarter than everybody else. So you know how to run your operation. You really will learn that. Say, man, understand trucking is it's a reason why all these people are into trucking. Just know who you are. Just don't lose who you are.
Correct. It's a good source of revenue stream. Uh, you can mess up personally, financially, and recover in trucking faster than any industry for as a blue collar worker. You know, the objective is not to mess up. so you don't be in that situation. But trucking gives you that freedom, but sooner or later you got to ask yourself, what's the end game to trucking? How long can your body hold up in trucking, right? I say 15 more years, God's willing, but I don't think I'm going to make it 15 more years. You got me?
Yeah,
I've been in this
if you think,
industry. Well, let me say this. I've been in this industry for 28 years. I'm 49. I'm pretty damn tired of it. I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm tired.
yeah, I'm with y'all. A lot of people, I'm gonna say owner operators. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't invested in, your own medical insurance, pulling up for retirement in some type of Roth or investment, it's gonna be hard retiring when you have no money coming back. Little you get, you retire Social Security 300 a month.
Still there?
Anyway, man. So before it's about to be damn 12 midnight. Hey man, before I leave, anybody want to say their last word? Because we're gonna do a commercial, and man, I gotta go to bed because I gotta build some floors in the morning.
All right.
Ooh.
One thing, do
Yes.
you still drive? You got a truck, OB?
No, sir. Sold
You still
everything.
drive?
Sold everything.
So was it like, did you sell because of the market, or I know you got another business or whatever, but what was your reason exactly of selling everything?
Somebody came to me with an offer I couldn't refuse.
Okay, folks.
All right.
I sell my numbers now. Anybody on here want some old ass numbers? I still got my old ass numbers, and I can talk about that later. But you can get my benefits from my numbers.
Good live, man. Good topic.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Somebody wanna see ya. Hold on. Boom, boom.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you,
back,
guys.
brother.
All right, man. We're about to end. Theo, what is your last words? And anybody on the panel want to say anything before we exit out?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm thankful to everybody that came on the panel. I'm thankful to those that were on the other panel that was able to see another day. We may have differences of opinion, but I wish everybody well, regardless of your color, your race, any of that. I wish everybody well. And today was a healthy debate, I think, for everybody. Regardless of how we feel personally about people, everybody did get a chance to speak. And even on the other channels, it did awaken some eyes to some things. And that could be good and bad. But I think having a healthy dialogue is always good among brothers, and when we bring other people
Oh
in,
shit! I
regardless of the
missed
color,
something.
it's a good thing.
I
Go
must
ahead.
have
What you
missed
miss?
something.
No,
I
you
don't
didn't.
know, because my phone went out for about 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on I-20 right now. Like, how's my no signal with Verizon on I-20? And so I
That's
was
because
really angry.
you're paying so much money for your satellite radio.
Come on, man. So, I was
Throttle in
so
this
pissed
service.
off, man. I was so pissed off, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
But that's my speech for tonight. Tribe, Heavyweight, Mr. Black,
Yeah,
Price is
man.
Sleep. Anybody got anything they want to add to it?
No,
Yes,
I
Yep.
sir.
just like
Just
your
good
topics, man.
topics, man. Yeah,
Great
yeah.
topics. Great topics.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
then.
all right, my brothers. We will talk to y'all another day. God's
all
willing.
Okay.
right. All right. Peace. Peace.
No
All right.
problem.
All
Now, before we leave out, man, I want to let everybody know: hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, man. We went longevity tonight. This dialogue was very healthy. Think of it like broccoli. Everybody got something from it, and you got fulfilled. And let's do greater tomorrow. Love life, live life, and love each other. Later.
Peace.